Well, none of them can hide from the truth, yeah. Children have to go back to the roots, yeah. None of them can hide from the truth, yeah. Children have to go back to the roots. I'm telling you now, the truth, telling you, yeah, the truth, You have to go back to the roots, go to the roots. Yeah, man, you know, this is Benjamin out of the Smiling Coast, West Africa, Gambia, representing for the one and only Abu, the big man you don't know, the Soninke warrior, the man that brings the truth, Soninke warrior, the sign of enlightenment, the Soninke warrior, the righteous and the true African. Abu, reveal the truth to them, you know, no matter how them try run from it, because none of them can hide from the truth, yeah. Yes, we have to dig back the roots, yeah. Fire!
Subscribe now.
I remember the days, all those years ago that never fade away. And I remember your face when you hit the ground. I can recall the time and place. On a midnight walk through the old streets, trying to turn back the clock to the days of old. Back to the days when all the things we knew were made of gold. As the world moves on, time sings a song. In the old neighborhood, as the clock strikes one, the memory lives just as it stood, like a quiet dream.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Afridamus Report. I'm your host, Afridamus. Please make sure you like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. Feel free to share. So, ladies and gentlemen, what are we talking about today? As the title you're seeing, South Africa wants war with Rwanda over DRC. If you're not familiar with that story, I'm going to break that down here today. And also, Trump threatens sanction on South Africa. So I'm going to touch on that as well, break it down to see if South Africa would be able to stand against Trump. But before we get into all that, if you look at it, what is happening in the DRC? That's the question. What is going on over there? Because if you look at it in the Congo, I'm sure some of you have probably heard about the M23, or maybe in these spaces where you would hear people that generally tend to talk about Pan-Africanism. Like they would mention places like Rwanda as like the perfect example of what all African states should be. Or also we have someone like Julius Malema of South Africa who, you know, brand himself as this staunch Pan-Africanist. But you see, in this era, what I'm seeing is like everything that's hidden is coming out to light. Is these things that we're hearing, are this just lip service? We are about to find out what Malema said in response to, you know, South African soldiers in the DRC Congo. The question here that people should be asking, what is South Africa doing in the Congo? Who are they defending? Because you see, there's a war. And in that jungle of the Congo, there are over 123 different factions there. So if you're not familiar with this, let me give you a brief synopsis about the history there. So, I mean, we can go all the way to 1884 because you see, it's great. The people that are involved here like to use that time as an example. So in 1884, what happened was the partition of Africa. And the person that spearheaded this was King Leopold of the the Congo. As you've heard, he became the ruler of the Congo, but he's never stepped foot there, right? He just saw Congo as a place for resources. I mean, Congo is a vast land. It's huge. It's a big country. But you see, after the Europeans had that meeting to divide the African nations that we know today amongst each other without fighting over it, because in the past, that's what they would have done. So the people that divided these lands, what they would do is, for example, they would just say, hey, from here all the way, like such territory, that's all their territory. So the Congo at the time, they said, belonged to King Leopold. But mind you, these borders are artificial borders, by the way. It is foreign people. They did not consult with the people that live in these areas, So they drew these lines, and the lines they've drawn, they divided groups that are usually one and the same. For example, you can see like they have the Maasai people in Tanzania. They have them in Kenya. But now, those, they have, now today they would say Tanzanian Maasai, Kenyan Maasai. But no such thing. It's the same people, the same group of people. So that is what is happening in the Eastern Congo region. So the Eastern Congo region, from the time that Leopold was in charge of it, the Belgians, I mean, they ran a slave colony there. They enslaved the people. They meted, violence on them, exploiting them. So that exploitation never stopped because you see, Congo is wealthy. All the resources we need today, Congo has it pretty much. So this war is about natural resource. So fast forward to the Congo becoming independent, Lumumba being the first prime minister. So Lumumba was talking, a different kind of talk about, he's speaking about independence and meaning it. And you guys know the people that owned, quote unquote, owned the Congo, because you see, the Belgians eventually took it from King Leopold when the secret came out that he even was committing genocide out there. So they took it from him. Now the Congo belonged to the state. So Lumumba is like, okay, I'm going to unite the Congo, and, this is our land. But the Europeans did not mean it that way. They are like, hey, it's just symbolism, but we still own the Congo and its resources. If you don't do as we say, I mean, in the case of Lumumba, he was deleted. Mobutu Sese Seko came to power. Mobutu ran the Congo at the time, because switched the name to Zaire. He ran the place with an iron fist. So since the Congo is vast and it's got lots of minerals that people need, the central government does not have total control over the territory. So what you're seeing in the Congo, it's a war over resources. But in 1994, there was a genocide in Rwanda, in neighboring Rwanda. Hutus deleting the Tutsis. So some of the people, the refugees, they ran to Eastern Congo. These are Banyamulenge speaking people, but they are of Tutsi, which is, Kagame's tribe. They were the ones being targeted to be cleansed. So they're refugees. So they ran to Eastern Congo. So now you see the technicality now. There's a problem here now. Because those people, even though they crossed the artificial border that they would have called Rwanda, they crossed over into the Congo. The people they met there, those are their people. So they are not foreigners. They came and lived amongst their own people. It's just called across the border. But the people, the refugees that crossed, that went into the Congo at the time, it wasn't only the Tutsis, like the people who were being, cleansed. Even the perpetrators also crossed over, because eventually, as you know, Paul Kagame and his army, they came and, cleared out and won. So remember this part. So the Tutsis, Kagame is a Tutsi. So it's a Tutsi government. He brought stability. But now, like I said, in that forest, because like the Congo is huge. It's like the Amazon. They have over 100 different groups that are fighting for different things. But they also have de facto Hutu militias who are also in that jungle. What are they fighting for? Mind you, those people were the ones committing the genocide in Rwanda. So Paul Kagame being in charge, do you guys think he would feel safe that these people are out there armed and organizing close to his border? That's a problem. Mobutu at the time, he was referring to these Banyamulenge people as foreigners, saying that these people are not, Congolese at the time, like Zairians. So these people were open to, prosecution, because it's like there's minerals there. So people would drive them off their land. So what did they do? They set up their military to defend themselves, which makes sense. So they've even had peace talks in the past about this. So technically, Rwanda has skin in this game to defend themselves. So we fast forward to the M23, the group that is today, they're saying Rwanda is backing. But South Africa somehow came there. South Africa is not, is in the south. It's not part of the, Central Africa that Congo is a part of. But they are there. They said they are peacekeepers. Peacekeeping. But you see, now things became technical, because they have the UN, they have private militaries there, and when you hear that, oh, Rwanda is stealing resources, are they? Because you see, the M23, they were, they did control Goma at one point. So this peacekeeping force came in with the Congolese army. So they dominated them. And they brought them to the table to discuss, to have a discussion. And this discussion is Tshisekedi, the president of the DRC, is supposed to acknowledge these people as Congolese citizens. but they are refusing to accept them as Congolese citizens. And I suspect why. Because they've been trying to tell these people to go, like, because some of them who are from Rwanda, some of the Tutsis, they said they can return back to Rwanda. But the Congolese government, they didn't stop right there. They want to get rid of the Manyamunyenge people. They want to get rid of them off of that land, because the Eastern Congo, that's where the resources are. So these M23, they took control of the resources there, mines, some of them. So since they are Tutsis, and the government in Kinshasa, which is Tshisekedi's government, is refusing to acknowledge them as Congolese. Do you see what is happening here? He is refusing to accept these people as Congolese, meaning then these people do not have any protection. So the Congolese, this entire time, the loophole they are using is they are saying these people are Rwandese, even though, I mean, we all know, like I gave you the example of the Maasai. You find them in Kenya, you find them in Tanzania. It's the same group of people. So if you're saying, okay, this Maasai came from Kenya, they gotta leave Tanzania, fine. Somebody might be like, okay, fine, right? But what about the Tanzanian Maasai? So if you want to get rid of them or don't acknowledge them as citizen, and they are not citizen of Rwanda either, guess what? That means they don't have a country. They are landless. So this is why these Manyamunyenge people have armed themselves. You know, since in the 90s, they've armed themselves to protect themselves against being kicked off their lands. So the resources they were getting, obviously, they're going to ship it through Rwanda. So shipping it through Rwanda, now they became strong and went back, you know. So now South Africa, that was supposed to be, you know, being the peacekeeper, now we are seeing that South Africa is involved in battle, and they've lost big time. They've lost big time. Let me show you here. Let me show you. And Malema is very upset at Paul Kagame. Let me see. Let me show you some of the back and forth here, and then we will go to South Africa versus Trump. South Africa is taking a lot of L this week. Here we go. All right. So this war right here, you are going to find out that all this Pan-African talk is just empty talk, because this M23, this Tutsi group, they are in the same situation as the South Africans were with the white people, because they were going to make them landless. So these people also are defending themselves. So now, if it's African versus African, like we're seeing in this region, whose side are you going to be on? You got to pick a side. Why is South Africa there? Are the South African troops there as disguise to protect, you know, white European companies, the companies that are laying claim to those resources? Because you see, clearly, Tshisekedi does not have control over the Congo. Let me tell you that, because their armies just got defeated. These people, you know, like, I mean, the distance between Goma and Kinshasa, I mean, like, that's miles and miles we're talking. The Congo is a vast country. So these people can even stop right where they are. They would have their own country. But you know what that would do? That would that would mean they would be the richest country if they create their own, because the resources, that's where they are. So the Congolese, instead of using the money to set up a strong army, they didn't do that. They hired mercenaries. They brought in the South Africans, because the type of speech that's been given by the South Africans, clearly the South Africans are there. They're not there to promote blackness. They are there to protect the interests of white companies. Oh boy, do you guys see how the hypocrisy works? Oh, white minority exploiting us, but South African military are there to defend white interests. Let me show you. Because why else are they there? Why are they beefing with Kagame? A man telling you that, look, this right here, this is a, Tshisekedi, the Congolese president, have been threatening to invade Kagame forever. So now Malema, the Pan-African, is super upset. His ego, like some of the South Africans, they are talking about, oh, look at the size of Rwanda. No, these people they've been fighting, for a long time, a long time. South African troops, they pretty much seem like they are woke, and they are going against a real army in the DRC, in Eastern Congo. Let me show you here. Give me a minute. Let me give you a snippet of the type of army they're going against.
I think that a mining town is very important for M23 because they need the resources. So the capture of mining facilities in particular from a resource standpoint is very important. As you say, it's 100 kilometers from Goma. So this means that their territory is expanding. It means they're growing in confidence. And I think that it's a dire reflection of the state of the DRC's army and their capability to try and stop them. So this is a very dangerous sign. It shows ambition, and it shows that M23 aren't hugely interested in continuing the ceasefire that was brokered only very, very recently. So this is...
All right, just an example. So you're seeing the situation there is very, very complicated. But at the end of it all, it's all about who is going to control the resources in Eastern Congo. That's what this war is about. And South Africa is over there saying they are playing peacekeeper. And Kagame slams them. Here we go. Let me show you this news clip from South Africa. Here we go.
National Defence Force has announced the 14 names of the fallen soldiers who died during the recent battle with M23 rebels in the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo. Southern African leaders held a SADC extraordinary summit in Harare, Zimbabwe yesterday to discuss the crisis in the DRC. The soldiers are William Edi Kola, Mulahleyi Ishmael Mulahleyi, Shwa Hlane, Theophilus Siepe, Matume Justice Malesa, Renaye Nemavulani, Itumeleng MacDonald Moreo, Tseke Moffat Mulapo, Metse Stanley Raswiswi.
So you're seeing that. So they have, like South Africa lost about 14 or 15 of their members, their soldiers in this war, right, that's taking place. So the M23 that they are calling the rebels, these people are very determined to hold on to the territories they are conquering. Let me show you their encounter with the mercenaries that the Congolese government hired to fight them.
Donc ils vont aller chez eux à la maison.
So the Democratic Republic of Congo, mind you, hired these white mercenaries to help fight the M23 rebels. I mean, clearly, like these guys are there for, they are paid. You think they are gonna want to, lose their lives? No. So the M23 captured these people because they defeated them in battle.
Dans quel pays? En France. Donc tu quittes là, tu as fait.
He's asking him, he said, who hired you? He said, France. So he's letting him know, you left there to come here again to fight against us?
En France pour venir se battre contre nous. Alors on se bat pour l'avenir de nos enfants. Assis-toi. Par terre.
So the rebel, rightfully so, he's like, so some of them, these fighters came from Romania, France. He said, so you guys left your country to come and fight us? So mind you, right? These mercenaries were hired by the Congolese government and the South African force, because South Africa said they are peacekeepers. Why are they on the same side with the Congolese government? Something is fishy here, right? And the Congolese government, because there can't be any peace between them and the M23, because they've refused to acknowledge these people as Congolese. They kept saying they are Rwandese, but yes, their tribe are of Rwandese origin, but this tribe exists in the Congo too, right there on the border. This is very common in Africa. That's how the whole of Africa is pretty much. So.
Mets dans la tête. Faut pas blaguer. Faut pas blaguer avec nous. Nous voulons vraiment que Congo soit un pays digne.
So you see that, right? You see that. So we have Kagame. Kagame was accused of being the one causing the problem there. But let me show you this from old clip from South African President Mbeki. Let's see. Let's hear what he has to say.
To the Eastern Congo is that there's a problem in the Congo which has not been resolved up to today. I'm talking about the DRC.
Guys, pay attention. This is the former president of South Africa, Thabo Mbeki. And if you know, like, for example, Thabo Mbeki's government, Thabo Mbeki, you can say for sure, like, he believes in that African liberation thing, not just talk. And he truly wanted to bring peace there. He wanted justice because he knows what those people were facing is injustice. So let's hear him break it down. Obviously, the current South African government did not speak with him before they decided to choose a side.
We're back to that NDR I was talking about. As you know, part of the population in the Eastern Congo is Rwanda speaking, the Banyamulenge. Part of the problem in the Congo is that from the days of Mobutu,
you guys hearing this, he is giving us a history of this place. Part of the Congo, these are Banyamulenge speaking people. But that doesn't mean that mind you, the borders, the lines is artificial. So when they left Rwanda and they crossed over, they are among their tribesmen. But that doesn't mean, because the Congolese are refusing to accept that Congo has Tutsi speaking people. Guys, those of you that are watching me that are African, you know this is not impossible. It's not like they're like, no, it's impossible for Congo to have Tutsis. No, you share a border with a group of people who are Tutsis. So it makes sense for Rwanda that share a line with you, that the closest people from that border are, it makes sense for them to be Tutsis. How hard is this? But because if Congo is claiming that region, they're only claiming the land, but they don't want to claim the people. Do you see how crazy that is? So let's hear what Mbeki has to say.
They refuse to recognize that the Banyamulenge are Congolese. They might be Rwanda speaking, but these are Congolese. And it's a responsibility of any government in Kinshasa to look after this section of the Congolese population like any other. But you remember what happened during the Mobutu years. Mobutu took the position that these are foreigners.
You guys see the problem, right? So, since the language they speak, that's like saying, like, let's say a place like Gambia, for example, saying that just because Wolof people exist, like somebody in Gambia speaking Wolof doesn't mean they are Senegalese by nationality, because the tribe exists on both sides. So imagine if the central government is refusing to acknowledge that group, just simply saying, no, you know what, our country does not have that tribe. So that's the kind of crazy thing Congo is talking about here. And this has been their policy since Mobutu. So for whatever reason, Congo is refusing to leave this position. And I've heard even other Congolese citizens, because sometimes people would say, oh, the government policy and the citizens don't match. There are a lot of Congolese who support that idea that they don't have Tutsis in their country.
It's like the South Africans here saying, I mean, they're Tswana-speaking people here in the Northwest. And suddenly the rest of the country says, those are not South Africans, they must go to Botswana. So what happened in the Congo case, that's how you had the Mai Mai emerge in Eastern Congo. The Mai Mai were specifically targeting the Banyamulenge to drive them out of the Congo into Rwanda.
So do you guys hear this? So there was another group that was set up called the Mai Mai, and their sole aim was to drive these Banyamulenge people into Rwanda to kick them off the land. So do you guys see where the conflict is? So because Mobutu said these people are not Congolese, he does not acknowledge them. So people that consider themselves the Congolese nationals, the Mai Mai, they set up that group to drive these people out of that land that they call Congo. So they wanted to drive them into Rwanda. So you see how Paul Kagame is coming into play here? We'll see.
But I'm saying it's a responsibility of the central government in the Congo to look after this population, which is Congolese. It's not Rwandan. It's Congolese. It's Rwandan speaking. That's the first problem. The second problem is that the administrative footprint of the government in Kinshasa does not reach the east. So you find a part that is part of the country which has got a very light experience of being governed by the government in Kinshasa. The country is very big. So you have a weak government, weak imprint of the government.
So mind you, he's right. The Congo government is very weak. The land is huge. They don't have control over it. So that means saying that this group are not even Congolese makes them vulnerable.
On the east, it means other forces emerge and take over. You see the M23. You can't avoid the phenomenon of the M23 as the government of the Congo unless you say we, the Congolese government, will protect the Banyamulenge because these are Congolese. If you don't say that, allowing other people to do as they wish towards the Banyamulenge, then M23 will continue to exist.
You guys see this situation? He just explained it, how this M23 came into existence. The central government in Congo refused to acknowledge them as citizens of Congo, to say they're going to protect them. So that they formed their own group to protect themselves. So this might result to another new country in that region. I mean, the Congo is super big. The way things are going, it might end up like that.
Because they will get arms to defend themselves. So it's the same, is that problem in the Kivus of that weak imprint of the government, and then goes up to the Ituri and then those areas. We discussed that with President Joseph Kabila.
So they've tried to lay this out, right? They've tried to lay this out. So from the explanation of the former president of South Africa, it means, he knows the history, South Africa, I mean, to be fair, he's not the president now. So, but you would think South Africa would understand the position of these people. So, anyways, with the fight, they started saying Kagame is the problem. So Kagame responded. Here we go.
Is on Monday and today this morning, I spoke with the president of South Africa, who sought me out to speak with me on this matter because of their involvement in Eastern Congo. And he's also there pretending to be playing a peacemaker role.
Do you guys hear what Kagame just said? He said he spoke with the South African president. We weren't there physically, but you guys know, like, Kagame is not the type of guy that would play games Like this guy grew up in a refugee camp to get his country back. Like he fought. I mean, we're talking like he fought for it. So he's not about to just allow things to happen to them again. His people were persecuted. The whole world, we were all aware about the genocide, right? The Rwandan genocide. So he wouldn't be the type that would take things like this lightly. So he's saying that South African president is just being a two-faced, a hypocrite. You know, he's there pretending like he's a peacemaker. But let's hear why Kagame came to this conclusion.
And he has a force that has been fighting alongside FDLR and has been fighting the M23 on the instructions of Tshisekedi, because these are people who are not supposed to be in Congo.
So you guys see the problem. So South Africa supposed to be, quote unquote, peacemaker. You see that? South Africa supposed to be peacemaker. So Kagame is saying that South Africa is fighting alongside the Congolese, you know, alongside the Congolese and another group under the instruction of the Congolese president, Tshisekedi, who has been issuing threats to Kagame. So do you guys see how messy South Africa is being? So South Africa picked a side, but they're pretending to be peacemakers. So here we go.
That these are from Rwanda, or the M23 are not Rwandans, please. These are Congolese, and one time he accepts it, then another time he says no, part of it is yes, and then the other part is from Rwanda, and these are he keeps on going. And how do we, leaders of our own countries, accept this to go on forever and just accept that we shall be manipulated by Tshisekedi or whoever is supporting him?
So, I mean, Kagame is pretty much saying, he said he don't give a damn, like he don't care what they say or who's supporting Tshisekedi. I mean, like the man he's had enough with the South Africans, right? So now you can see why you will see why the South Africans are upset. Because, I mean, let's be real. Like, I know some of you are saying, oh, they're saying that they've seen Rwandan forces inside Congo. But now, what role is South Africa playing? This is what we should be asking as well. I mean, peacemaker, like you're not supposed to pick a side. You are not supposed to. But that means now you've gone there, and that government, Tshisekedi, is telling the South Africans, these people are not supposed to even be in the Congo. So they want to drive them into Rwanda. So what is Kagame supposed to do? Think about that.
And South Africa dares even issue threats about what is likely to happen after that, and so on and so forth. Of course, we will see what threats they are talking about.
So South Africa threatens Kagame. Do you guys see this? So these South Africans, you know, you guys, even Malema, you guys are going to see when they talking all that Pan-African thing like Malema and others, it's all fake. Behind closed, because they think they are the big boys of Africa, issuing threats to countries they consider small. You see this? So Kagame is saying that South Africa issued threats to them. So let's hear what that threat is.
Maybe they should have done that exactly for which they have been issuing threats. They should have done it to clean up the mess in Eastern Congo, or to fight back those who have been trying to clean up the mess. So then you have the whole international community just confused. They talked about Rwanda, they talked about the Nairobi process. Honestly, even here, maybe you will help me understand what all this means. The processes became an end in themselves. And the people leading these processes became more important than the results of the processes.
You see this? Yeah. So these Southern African countries, they're showing up there. You know, South Africa itself, Angola, you know, they started making it about themselves, making themselves feel important. This is what Kagame is telling us. And whenever you see a party, a group doing that, that means they are on the side of, you know, on the side of the people that are laying claims on those mines. So Kagame is saying, like, this SADC, this SADC, they're not there to create peace. They are there to steal as well. You know, they are there to protect the interests of those who are looting the DRC. So here we go.
The Nairobi process became a Uhuru process. Then the Rwanda process, it's like you can't say anything that will displease President Lorenzo. Definitely, this does not help deal with such a serious matters as we are faced with today. That in the end, just because they can't be addressed, we have such a situation that, like we have now. And if anybody, and above all, I don't understand how Tshisekedi keeps thinking that he will.
So you see it and heard it, the threats that were issued, and it sounds like South Africa, because, you know, even online, like, yeah, the South African leadership, you know, because they thought they were going to go there and, you know, exert pressure on M23 and Rwanda, because that's how they are looking at it, right? So Malema, the Pan-African, let's see what Malema said, how he responded. You know, like I've been telling you guys, this one Africa thing, man, wait till you hear this. Let's hear what Malema is saying about Kagame speaking his mind. You know, telling us exactly what it is and pretty much letting South Africa know he's not scared of them. You know, stop issuing threats, start acting. So here we go.
Government, for sure, the pictures of those soldiers of South Africa who are captured were going to be circulating now. The reason why we no longer see those videos of South Africans, they took phones away from them. They no longer have phones.
So, you know, the rebels, the M23, as they call them, apparently they captured the South African soldiers that they captured. They still kept them free in their compound. They didn't even take their guns from them. They allowed them to, you know, have their phone. But these soldiers, they started taking videos and posting it on TikTok and stuff. You know, the M23 rebels are like, you know what? You guys are grounded, and they took their phones from them. Now Malema is upset, you know, and he's saying that the South African government is hiding this from the people. Guys, get the likes up, get the likes up.
So there is a big problem. We have no capacity. That's why I'm not saying let's go and attack. I'm saying withdraw. Let's regroup. Let's regroup and retrain. And if Rwanda has got anything to do with this, let's go for them.
Are you guys hearing this? Did you hear what your Pan-African said? So, sure, he's admitting defeat. He's like, he knows they can't fight them right now. He knows this. So it's a test. They've tested their army and they're finding out that they can't really beat these people. He's saying, fine. In many words, yes, we have been defeated. We can't fight this. It's proven. Let's withdraw, regroup, retrain, and go after Kagame, saying if we find out he has something to do with it. Come on, Malema. I mean, you are not a child. None of us are children. I mean, if you guys are threatening this man and you're next door to him and M23 is there, who do you think he's going to help? Who? Make this make sense.
Because we're not going to have Rwanda dictating to us and Kagame speaking to Cyril the way he was doing. We know Cyril is weak, but he remains a president of our country. The way he was addressing Cyril, he was addressing us.
Malema is pissed. He said, so pretty much he said the way Kagame was addressing their president, he said he knows, you know, their president Ramaphosa is weak, but, you know, the way Kagame was addressing him, you know, he's pretty much addressing all of them like that. So his ego is bruised. I mean, you can totally hear it. Like, his ego is bruised. Like, how dare small Rwanda, their president Kagame, talking tough or, you know, speaking with confidence. So Malema's Pan-African card is pulled completely. Okay? Like, I mean, clearly, whose interests are they protecting in the Eastern Congo? Whose? That's what the question should be.
He can't address us like that. He can't kill our people and not be challenged on that. And
so you see, in this one speech, he's just accused Kagame of being the one deleting these soldiers. Did you hear this? So he is alleging that he did that. So here we go.
Sadek agrees that the Rwandan army had something to do with what is happening there. Who is the commander-in-chief of the Rwandan armed forces is Kagame.
All right. Let's ask Malema over here. Okay, fine. They want to question what is Rwanda doing there. That means they are saying it's a foreign country, right? What is South Africa doing in the Congo, in Eastern Congo, to be specific? What are they doing there? You guys see, I mean, I don't know, the game there is dirty. The game is dirty. You have soldiers at this man's doorstep, and you're questioning what his army is doing there when you came from miles and miles away. Do you guys hear how crazy this is? So Malema is pissed. Let's hear more.
We're not saying DRC is in a good hands and therefore it's just being provoked by how DRC has dealt with issues in Eastern DRC is something that needs to be resolved if we're to have a permanent resolution into that crisis. but to undermine colonial borders because you think you've got a backing of France and all imperialist forces to an extent of challenging the biggest army in South Africa.
There you go. He said it. I told you. See, Malema is butthurt that he's saying they have the biggest army in Africa. How dare Malema? How dare Kagame challenging them? He's saying that Kagame thinks because he has the backing of the West. I mean, we don't know this. Do you guys see how Pan-Africanism is out the door? I mean, I've been saying this forever. I said it's about the resources. All that Pan-African talk, I mean, that's out the door. Yeah, Malema is saying they have the biggest army, but let's find out how he would talk when the real big army, leader, say something to them.
They've undermined us to the extreme.
So you see and I hear that. That's where South Africa is. Malema is very, very upset. He is upset that they have the biggest army. Zongo said, Africa must stop preaching against Pan-Africanism. Oh, Zongo, I'm not preaching against anything. I'm just pointing out exactly what I'm seeing. I mean, Zongo, tell me, truly, you just heard what Malema said. You've heard the other side too. Like, is that what Pan-Africanism is? Come on now. Let's get real. But now let's move on to another story. I mean, I don't know, you guys have been hearing like Donald Trump, our president, going down as the biggest president ever. He is signing executive orders upon executive orders, and I mean, people are squealing all over. I mean, like, when he signed the deportation, people thought that was the worst thing. Before they know it, he signed the transgender bill, and in the meantime, he signed that no more aid to African countries. But now, these African countries that are specific, South Africa, to be exact, Trump pointed out South Africa. And as you know, clearly, Elon Musk, he's from South Africa. And we've heard about South Africa when they were talking about taking the land. They call it expropriation. They would expropriate the land without compensation. Because you see, in South Africa, I believe the whites are like 7%, but they control 70% or 75% of the most valuable land. So the government of South Africa have been talking about, like changing the laws, taking the land. So the white people have seen this as discrimination, you see? And clearly, Elon Musk, coming from South Africa, he obviously have brought this to Trump's table. So hold on, let me see this super chat here. Spellcaster, thank you for the super chat. He said, A1 to all Africans worldwide. Shout out to you. Thank you. Guys, feel free to hit the super chats and the like as well. So clearly, this conversation have taken place because Elon Musk brought it up. In fact, like there's a video out there. Elon Musk, his dad did an interview with Vlad. I'll bring that here and review it. Man, like he would blow your mind. He talked about how he deleted, I think, 3 black South Africans that came try to, I guess they were robbing his home or something like that, to that effect. And he also was talking about how they are not, weak. He talked about the different battles, like the number of whites that participated, less number than the Zulu, and they still won. I mean, I have to bring that interview here. But now, in the past, right, they did it like during the apartheid. At the time, the blacks were subjugated in South Africa. But now a lot of blacks have been living in luxury and born in luxury. Can they afford to lose this luxury? And especially if it's subsidized by the US. The US doesn't have to do, Trump don't have to do anything physical. As you can see, he would just cut the fund. Colombia, we saw Colombia's president. Colombia came out, talking tough, talking about, man, Trump, I'm not gonna accept this, F you. And I mean, less than an hour, he got on the phone and he's like, sorry, Trump. It's not only did he accept the people, he had to send his own presidential plane. And then Mexico, moved on to Mexico. Mexico's president was talking tough, talking about, man, F Trump, I'm not gonna do what Trump said. The next minute, guess what? She did just exactly that. Then we go to Canada. We've been seeing it happen. So is South Africa. Can South Africa afford? Do South Africa want to be Zimbabwe? I mean, South Africa, guys, they're seeing the example next door. And this time around, the fight might be difficult for South Africa because South Africa cannot claim to be the victims, because people are seeing people like Malema bragging, talking about they have the strongest army in Africa. So it's going to be a difficult one. But either way, let me show you what Trump said and what Malema said about it, and how South African president is responding to what Trump said. Here we go.
US President Donald Trump says he will cut funding for South Africa over a new land expropriation policy. South Africa defended itself on Monday against attacks on the policy by Trump and his billionaire backer Elon Musk, who was born in South Africa. Without citing evidence, Trump said on Sunday, quote, certain classes of people in South Africa were being treated very badly.
That's under investigation right now. We'll make a determination. And until such time as we find out what South Africa is doing, they're taking away land, they're confiscating land, and actually they're doing things that are perhaps far worse than that.
South African President Cyril Ramaphosa said in a statement he looked forward to engaging with Trump to find a better...
So Ramaphosa is going to engage Trump. He's not going to talk reckless like Malema. Obviously, I don't expect that. But here we...
and common understanding over the issue. Last month, he signed into law a bill that would make it easier for the state to expropriate land in the public interest. The law aims to address racial disparities in land ownership that persist 3 decades after apartheid's demise in 1994. Special conditions would have to be met for expropriation, such as the land having long-time informal occupants, being unused and held purely for speculation, or being abandoned. The Minister of Mineral and Petroleum Resources, Gwede Mantashe, struck a tougher line.
If they don't give us money, let's not give them minerals.
So, South Africa minister saying, hey, if they don't give us money, we don't give them minerals. Just sell your minerals. Like, I mean, did we know this is what the relationship was? I mean, I'm as shocked as you are. But here we go.
But the reality, they take our minerals, but say why we're throwing funding. No, we have minerals.
Musk quickly waded in on the X platform he owns, responding to Ramaphosa's statement. Why do you have openly racist ownership laws, he asked. The Foreign Ministry responded to Trump by saying the act was not exceptional, and Ramaphosa said the government had not yet confiscated any land.
So do you guys think South Africa's president is going to bend the knee? So let me show you another clip of Malema. Let's see how he responds to Trump.
Has noted the threat by the President of the United States of America, Donald Trump, who has issued a threat to cut foreign aid to South Africa and impose sanctions on South Africa. for adopting legislation that permits the expropriation of land without compensation and implementing policies that addresses historical race-based inequalities in our country. The state.
Do you think FB is going to support Malema on this one? So Malema quickly, he's responding to Trump and the threats. So let's see what he says to this. Elon Musk, obviously is bringing this to the forefront.
Statement by Donald Trump is offensive and undermines our sovereignty, and is a reminder that our reliance on foreign aid and foreign direct investment surrenders us to the will of imperialists who use money to dictate the economic and policy direction of Africa. We want to make it categorically clear to the President of the USA that we are going to expropriate land without compensation and pursue legislative measures to do so, and no threat will stop us.
He's just talking. He will take that check.
His interpretation of the Expropriation Act, which is a mild and cosmetic intervention, is an assessment of a measure that is going to be pursued through the amendment of our constitution as South Africans, and there is nothing he can do to undermine our independence. The EFF reiterates its position that...
All right. So you've seen and heard that. So Malema took the time when he was about come to Trump. He took the time. They wrote what he had to say and rehearsed it. As you guys can see, he kept reading, making sure he doesn't, make one mistake of saying something out of line, right? But with Kagame, he didn't look at any script. So that's where we are. That's where we are. But you see, they didn't stop there. Do you guys think South Africa is going to bend the knee? I mean, from the looks of it, I think they will. Because you see, they've seen what's happened to Zimbabwe. So this time around, the US, all they got to do is remove funding. And that's all they got to do. Then you can't accuse them of holding anything over you. All they got to do is take their money. Like people getting mad at Trump saying, oh man, cutting all this funding to these countries. Oh, so Trump shouldn't do what's best for America. If anytime someone is giving you money, paying your bills, guess what? Don't be surprised when they tell you how things are going to go. So let's see one more clip here and what the South African president, I guess he contacted Elon Musk's dad. So let's see what he has to say.
Hello and welcome. We start with South Africa. Amid a spat with the United States over President Donald Trump's aid cuts and accusations of land confiscations, Pretoria has sought to diffuse the tensions. How? By dialing Trump's quote-unquote first buddy, Elon Musk. President Cyril Ramaphosa spoke to South Africa-born tech billionaire Elon Musk, who is a close ally of the US President Donald Trump.
See, Malema, he don't know how things run, but Ramaphosa, he knows. See, he quickly runs to Elon Musk. But I mean, come on, he knows it's Elon Musk pushing that. And the link is in the chat. If you want to contribute, feel free to hit that link. It would be a short show. Here we go.
Talked to Musk about misinformation and distortions about South Africa. This after US President Donald Trump said that he would suspend over $400 million aid to the country over its land reform policy that allows government to seize land without compensation.
Man, 400 million, that's a lot of money. Do you guys think South Africa is going to bend the knee? Like, can they afford to to not receive that 400 million. I mean, from the way they are responding, yes, I think they are going to bend the knee. I mean, all that talk back in the days, oh, we black, I mean, you notice they're not saying all that. None of these people are talking the Mandela type talk, be willing to go to prison, to Robben Island. That's not, the era we live in. I mean, these people have been living good, driving expensive cars, eating good. I mean, they became soft. So that 400 million, there is no way. I mean, I'm already smelling that they're going to bend the knee. You know how I know? Malema is the only one who came out. It didn't even come from his heart. Have you noticed? In the past, when he talks about land, he does not need a script. But he is on a different front. The front is to try to intimidate Rwanda. Okay? So, yeah, I don't know if they are willing to become Zimbabwe. Here we go.
Musk also joined Trump and slammed the Ramaphosa government for openly racist land ownership policies. Ramaphosa has rejected the accusations and has sought to engage with Trump. Elon Musk's father.
Somebody asked Trump, he said, so cutting the funding, is it other African countries and South Africa, or just South Africa? They say, no, South Africa alone, just South Africa. And the Nigerians were in the back going like this. Nigerians are like, oh yeah, pretty soon we would, you would come running to us. But South Africa is going to bend the knee. I mean, you can see it. They called Elon Musk his dad. I mean, these white people out there, man, they're not playing. They're like, yeah, we ain't got to take no guns anymore. We'll just refuse to cut the check. And you would come running to us. This is what is happening. All along, we thought South Africa, they got it good like that. Little did we know, we've been, sending them, we've been sending them, some food stamps from here. Welfare checks. So Trump is like, yeah, I'm gonna stop the welfare check from going out. Like, that's our tax dollars, right? And they're like, oh my Lord. Zongo said Nigeria do take aid. Yeah. But Zongo, you see, Nigeria is not ashamed. They're not gonna come out here like talking just the citizens, but have you ever seen the Nigerians, talking down about that? No. So you can't say anything about Nigeria. But even in the USAID that Trump cut, sometimes you've heard that they've put there that they gave in Nigeria 40 million. It was a scam. So these people, they scammed Nigeria. They said they're going to spend it to build schools. So sometimes when you hear them saying they're going to give the money to Nigeria through this USAID, it's a scam. They're just using the Nigerians' name to dirty up their name when they never received anything. It's just money laundering, using their name. Here we go.
Said amid the growing tensions, he arranged Musk's call with Ramaphosa after a special request was made by the South African president.
I said I got a call from the PA of Mr. Ramaphosa while I was having supper in a restaurant, asking me if I can speak to Mr.
That's Elon Musk's dad. So Ramaphosa called him. That's what he's telling us. So let's hear the conversation. So do you guys think Ramaphosa is doing this?
I can do some shuffling too. Look out, man, what you gonna do? Look out, boys, it's coming through. Yeah, man, yeah, man. Boy, he got educated feet.
Mr. Ramaphosa. So, without divulging things, I was asked if I can arrange a quick talk between Ramaphosa and Elon last night. So I said, all right, so I did. And then they spoke a few minutes later, and it's on my phone.
Ramaphosa told Elon Musk that South Africa respects the rule of law, justice, fairness and equality, as Trump has accused his government of treating certain classes very badly and conducting human rights violations. Trump later also said that Pretoria is doing much worse without elaborating. Last month, Ramaphosa signed...
You guys hear that? When Trump said they are doing much worse, that means what he's implying that they are broke.
...into law a bill that allows land seizures without compensation in certain circumstances. Land ownership has long been a contentious issue in South Africa, with most private farmland owners by white people, even 30 years after the end of the racist system of apartheid. Ramaphosa has clarified that the law will not allow any forceful expropriation, but criticism continues.
Hold on, Ramaphosa. What does that even mean? Guys, Ramaphosa is waffling. He is tap dancing. Ramaphosa is using all these different words, talking about we're going to follow the law. Like, what is it going to be? I suspect we know what it's not going to go like. What Malema is saying, that's just empty talk. Okay? So, in many words, translation, Ramaphosa is letting everyone know because you see, if he starts talking all that crazy talk, he knows Trump is not here to play. So that's just gonna make things more difficult, right? So he's playing all these tactics. I guess this is what Kagame was, telling all of us. Are you going to take the land and distribute it, or you're not going to? Which one is it? And do you guys see how Elon Musk and even Trump is openly calling the South African government racist government to Ramaphosa directly? And he's not addressing that. I have noticed that. So I see why Malema is pissed, calling him weak. I see why. We have Diego Mate in the house. Diego, welcome to the Afridamus Report.
Afridamus, my friend. How are you, man?
I am well. It's been a while. What's going on in Mozambique?
It's normal, man. It's just the timing of things. I couldn't, be live on it, but I'm here today.
Perfect. So, Diego,
Yes.
I want to. You're from that region. Let's start with what's going on in the DRC. What is South Africa doing in the DRC? Because these threats there, Malema, you heard him issuing to Rwanda, and things are escalating. What are they doing there to begin with, and why are they choosing sides if they are there to keep peace?
In my view, it's a political game, man. Everybody in the Congo wants the resources. Nobody wants to help the Congo, if we are to be honest. So if both Rwanda and South Africa are the devils trying to extract what Congo has to offer, that's how I see it. It's a political game, man. I believe they're in it together, to be quite honest.
You think South Africa and Rwanda, they are on the same page but just playing a game?
Yes, from the standpoint of the elites of the countries, because these resources in the Congo won't be used in Rwanda and they won't be used in South Africa. So
but Kagame, I don't think he's playing like. Think about looking at his history, and there's other groups in that Congo forest who are real threats to their very existence. So, I mean, I don't think he is playing.
No, I get your point.
Because he's getting the resources from the M23. People say he's stealing it, but the M23 controlling, that part of Congo, and they are the same ethnic group as the government in Kigali. Obviously, they're gonna ship it through Kigali.
Yeah. So, but in your view, where are these resources going? Not to Rwanda.
No, we all no.
And if South Africa gets the resources, they won't be going to South Africa. So I believe it's simply just a political game.
South Africa, just like I suspected, South Africa is there to protect the interests of white monopoly.
I wouldn't even say white monopoly, because this is is something we like to say, but I believe for the most part.
No, the reason why I threw it that there is so that because people, before they like to throw the white thing, but it looks like now, it's become multiracial. They are, like openly, people who were talking about white monopoly are actually on team white.
Yeah, I get your point, but those resources.
So it's no longer white or black. That's my whole point.
Yeah, I don't believe in the whole notion of white supremacy, as they say, but that's a different conversation.
Right.
What I can tell you, in my view, those resources.
Where you from?
Hold on, Zongo.
In my view,
I wanted to know where he's from. That's all.
Mozambique.
I'm from Mozambique. Yes. So, in my view, those resources won't be used in any African country. Even if, let's say, Nigeria, Ghana, they get into the war in Congo, those resources are not staying in Africa. So everybody's
Africans don't know what to do with it.
Exactly. That's the point as well. You see, so it's just the
Africans just want the money from it. That's it.
Yeah,
and also, let's go to South Africa and the United States. President Trump, as you can see, he's the greatest deal maker. It's called, wrote the book called, The Art of the Deal. And he's been getting his ways. So he just issued this, threat to South Africa about the land issue. So from what you're hearing, the way the South African leadership is responding, do you think they are going to bend the knee? Or they're going to play tough and say F the 400 million?
Well, that's actually a good subject matter. For one, I don't really believe in the whole land issue going on in South Africa, because I live there. And this is an issue that's been going on for years. Because partly the South African is aware that he's not that good at farming. The black South African,
Right.
They need the white people that know how to farm. So if the Malemas, they take the land, they are actually being stupid. I believe.
Do you think Malema even means it, or like this is just a political capital for him that he doesn't want it to die?
It's a political capital, because let me ask you something. Who do you think finances his political party?
He's part of the USAID. Because remember when Malema, was flying the rainbow flag, the gay flag. Remember that?
I do.
Yeah, because back then it was Biden's government. That's what they wanted to promote in Africa at the time. But so with this Trump thing, so you are saying because Ramaphosa seems like he's just dancing. He's not telling us, everyone, like, okay, I'm gonna take the land, F Trump. Oh, like he's talking about we followed the law, no one's land has been taken. He's been openly, his government has been called a racist government, and he's not responding to that. He instead wants to tap dance, and call Elon Musk his father, so he can talk to Elon. What's that all about?
You know, I really don't get it. You know, but what I wanted to say actually is that these political parties, especially in South Africa, I would say the ANC and the EFF, those political parties to me are actually communist parties. You know,
Yes.
and they actually create a lot of harm to the black masses. You know, that's how I see it. So, you know, I
Yeah.
don't believe it's smart for the South African public to believe that taking the lands from the Boers, it's actually a smart thing. That's not how I see it. Being from my country imports most
Do you
of the.
think if this take the land and they put sanction on South Africa, do you think they're going to be worse than Zimbabwe?
Uh, I don't think they will be worse than Zimbabwe, but they will definitely have a huge loss. You know, because my country is one of the biggest trade partners of South Africa. We actually depend on them
Right.
for our
So
agricultural.
you guys will suffer too.
Yes, we will suffer. You know, we depend on South Africa for our agricultural, you know, for the
Wow.
food.
Okay.
So we are quite aware of the situation, and I live close to the city or state that produces the most, you know, bananas and apples. That's why I say that most black people in this part are not good at farming at a scale that you need to feed a nation, you know.
Right.
So we need the expertise of the white people that farm, and this is something I actually think the South Africans, certain black South Africans, are aware of it. You know, so I don't think it's a smart thing for the ANC to remove the lands from the white people there that actually farm.
All right. Let's bring in Zongo. Zongo, welcome to the Afridamus Report.
Thank you for having me on your show, Afrodamas. Greetings to you, your panelists, and the chat, and the later
Thank you.
viewers as well.
So Zongo, what do you think about what's happening in the DRC from what you're hearing and Malema issuing threats to Kagame? Like, do you think Kagame is wrong for protecting himself and his people? And you being, Zongo, about in West Africa, it's easier to move around, but in
Yeah,
that region is very complicated.
yeah, it is. I
As
mean,
you can,
the people like the people of Ghana in in Gambia deserve a citizenship too, right? Yeah, I mean,
right?
this
No, I mean they do. They all jokes aside, yeah, they do.
yeah, because Afrodamas, because the thing is,
They
even
they
though
are
like
born and raised there. So
even though you might find you might trace your ancestry elsewhere, once you live in a country, your mentality, your way of thinking, it changes. You
right,
just embrace the group or the society where you find yourself. A lot of us, even myself, I mean, I'm Hausa mixed with Tem group. Most of my people, I know they're gonna be tracing Ghana.
yeah. But
You
Zongo, what do
understand?
you think about the DRC government since Mobutu's time? You know, and the young Kabila, and then
I don't know too
now
much
they
about.
refuse to acknowledge these people as Congolese. They are saying you know um the these are from Rwanda. What is that all about? What do you think about? Because like with the resources, I mean,
It has a lot to do with the resource of Afrodamas. Trust me, because I'm sure. Because I mean, what's the name? Goma.
Goma,
It's not the
yes,
only. It's not the only bordering town to Rwanda. There are other like bordering towns that share with Congo and other like countries. Even like the Congo itself
it's
shares
huge.
its borders. It shares its border. I think
Even Uganda,
with Uganda and the other Congo, right? What's I think Congo Brazzaville, right?
yeah.
So I mean, so are they going to tell us that there isn't any group between Congo Brazzaville and Congo Kinshasa? Come on, there's always going to be uh, overlapping of ethnic groups in the other side of the country with respect to the other side of another country. So this is not
So,
rocket
so
science.
Zongo, are you aware of okay, the it was the little group? I think is between uh, Ghana and Ghana and Togo, right?
Yeah. No, I feel it's not just only Ghana and Togo. It's along Ghana and
Yeah.
Togo, along Burkina Faso
So
and
if you
Ghana.
look at it, those groups, right? Generally,
Uh-huh.
because governments seem to, not acknowledge them, so they do things for themselves and.
Well, even in Ghana, Ghana only recognizes even 10 ethnic groups. That's completely preposterous, you know? It's completely preposterous. Even today in Ghana, there are a lot of Fulanis who are even wanting the
I saw
government to.
news on that today.
Exactly, right? You know,
I saw that.
they still have issues. I mean, usually it's the political parties, Afidamas. It's the political parties because, like the Akufado's party, for instance, they wouldn't win election if they are Pan Africans because the ones in the bordering regions, they're not gonna vote for them because they are always being tagged out. Man, you guys are not Ghanaians. You guys are come from other places.
Yeah, this is definitely it's a problem in Africa. And
Man,
what
it's
do you
definitely
think?
a man.
What do you think about Malema's statement towards Kagame?
Man, I'm quite surprised. I thought Malema was a pro-African who was, all in for the unity and then the unification of all African people until I saw this statement.
And you heard? Did you hear him say they have the biggest army?
Nah, if they really had the biggest army, he wouldn't say they will have to redraw and regroup and retrain and come back again. But come on, man. I mean, I'm quite surprised that a whole South African army couldn't contain this M23 people. It means those people are really armed. They have
Yeah.
they're really trained.
They've held Goma before, and they lost it. They drove them out, but this time they came way
But
sophisticated.
let's be honest. The bottom line of this whole situation is that it's not really about ethnic group or something like
Oh,
that.
I know.
It's mostly about the resources,
Right. Of course.
and there has to be a foreign entity that is supplying this M23 people with the resources, because
No,
someone
I think here's what is happening. The Mulenge people there, they've always had to, defend themselves against the Mai Mai, right? They eventually started growing, and the government, the Sekedi, refused to acknowledge them as Congolese.
it's not gonna.
So therefore, since they control these, mineral rich places,
I mean, think about it though.
they use it for weapons.
Yeah, but think about it. If they recognize them, it means they're gonna say we want a stake in the resources in that region too as well.
Yes,
And the
but this
government
is why
doesn't want to. They don't want us trying to deal with them. 'Cause like, man, you dusty ass
they want
Negroes,
to
man.
drive them. They want to drive them off the land.
That's how, like, the people in the Niger Delta area, the oil over there, that's how, like, those people actually revolted against the Nigerian government because the resources come from that region. Yes, when they distribute the resources, the people in that area don't get huge chunk of the benefit in that, so they revolted and they had to get the Nigerian government has to strike a deal with them.
Right.
So it's always, at the end of the day, it's always about resources. Because even in Ghana, when we discovered oil, could you imagine even some of the chiefs in Western region were like, okay, since the resource come from our region, we deserve the large.
I mean, but Zongo, it's true.
They
It
have a
has
point.
to, because when they start mining and all, it's going to affect their environment. That's their environment.
Yeah, you're right though. Because even in Ghana, like the region with the most resources, Western region actually, and it's the same region with the less development too. You always hear of that.
So with the way this M23, as you can see there, they have a full-fledged military army now.
Yeah,
do you think there would ever be any solution other than saying they want their own country? The way things are going.
I think if they have the East African group, the leadership within the continent, because I don't really like, what really kind of surprises me after all these years history that we've gone through, when issue like this kind of arises, you tend to see a lot of Africans going to international community looking for solutions, man. Come on, like we can't really solve our internal problems, really. Come on, man, we can't really do that. So, I mean, I would say that, I mean, the East African bloc, or the South African whole bloc have to come together and
Yeah, but
devise a
but but,
whole like
but Malema
pragmatic.
talking about they gotta regroup and
No, I mean it's not the Southern African bloc. I
con-
don't mean like South Africa necessarily. You know, the whole bloc have to come together, just like ECOWAS. You know, they have to come together just to find a solution to this problem. Because these people are Congolese. I mean, they might speak Rwandese language, but come on, man, these are Congolese people. You know, this is not rocket science. Even the Speaker of Parliament in Ghana, his ethnic group is divided between Cote d'Ivoire and Burkina Faso. I mean, come on, but he still was able to become a Speaker of Parliament in Ghana. Let's not do that. Come on, let's sit down and have a concrete solution to the problem. You know, because at the end of the day, at the end of the day, is the foreign interests that are benefiting. And I wanted to add this thing because if you go to Turkey, for instance, right, there's another group that are also experiencing similar
oh
situation.
yeah.
They call them the Kurds. You know,
Yeah.
when they were dividing these nations together, the Kurdish people were divided along these countries. You know, there are some in Turkey, in eastern Turkey, some were in Syria, some
In
were in
Iraq.
Iraq,
Mhm.
and some also in Iran. You know, but ever since these people discovered oil in Iraq, they've been helping their brothers in those neighboring countries so that they can have a greater Kurdistan state. You know, and those people have been causing problems in eastern Turkey, and that's why, like, the Turkish government was never like the U.S. government because they feel like they are supporting other groups that are against the sovereignty of the Turkish government. So this issue, it's not just only Africa, So I mean, it kind of surprises me when we kind of make it like more of like a tribal thing. The ultimate goal is about the resources,
No,
and
but
they want
see,
people. Mhm.
that's the thing, like, because to claim rights to those lands, it's tied to their ancestry, who they are as people. So this is where the artificial mapping comes into questioning. But let's segue. Do you think South Africa is going to bend the knee to Donald Trump's demands?
Oh, of course, man. The fact that he called Elon's dad to connect him to man, that's like, man, he already bended the knee, man. He
Come
already
on,
did that.
Zongo, South
But
Africa is
what
tough, man.
but
They
what is
got
but what is really surprising is that he couldn't communicate to the US consulate. He has to communicate to Elon Musk. Really? that's that's
Elon
really crazy.
is at
You
the
know,
same table with Trump. That's
yeah,
the
it's very,
fastest way. That's
and
smart.
you can tell Elon, because when I saw the news, I'm like, these white South Africans, they are really powerful. They pass this news to American government to speak on their behalf, and then when I started to see the news, I'm like, oh, Elon was the one. He's the
Yeah.
Elon was the one. I'm like, damn, man, they are really powerful, man.
And are you shocked to, because they openly calling him racist? How come they didn't? Are you surprised the South Africans, Malema and Ramaphosa, they didn't check Trump and Elon?
Man, they are afraid, man. They're a bunch of like, because I heard, a lot of South Africans come to this blog. They are against Israel. They want to be part of break. America's going to come to their ass, man. You take aid from America, but you don't even support American interests.
Yeah, it's
That's
not
really
gonna work.
crazy.
It's not
That's
gonna
really
work.
crazy, though.
Yeah,
Now,
let's bring in a civilized man. Civilized man, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Civilized man, where are you calling from?
I'm calling from South Africa.
All right, welcome in the house. So, civilized man, the situation in the DRC. What are you as a South African? What do you think about it? What is your country doing there? And also, what Kagame is saying.
Okay, so what is South Africa doing in the DRC?
Yes,
Well,
because they
I
said
mean,
they're there for peacekeeping, but Kagame is saying they've chosen a side. They are operating under the directives of the Congolese president.
so yeah, I think Kagame is right because I heard Julius Malema say the same thing. He said that Ramaphosa is being used by white multinationals to send the South African army into the Congo to protect their resources. So I think, yeah, that's correct.
So then, why would Malema, issue threat to Rwanda then?
You said it yourself. The guy was pissed off about, how dare, third world, like what, Rwanda speak to us like that. Because Malema, like the way he was talking, he was implying that Rwandans and South Africans are two different groups of people. He wasn't speaking that Pan-African language anymore.
Right.
So yeah, he was offended. Like, how dare this guy? He's below me. How dare he speaks to me?
His ego. Yep.
Yeah.
Do you think Malema, he feels like, his ego, like saying, we're supposed to be the big boys, look at us getting taken out by a small group?
Yeah, I think basically what he said, they exposed him as a fake Pan-African.
Yes.
Like the way he talks, like, oh, we are more mighty than the rest of you. But all along, he was always like, anytime someone mentions, like, for example, his open border policy, people would say, like, how can you have open borders when there's such a vast difference in development between South Africa and the rest of this continent? And he will make excuses for them. But today, he's the one, like, taking the position of might. Like, oh, we South Africans, we're better than the rest of these people. It's confusing.
Yeah.
Like, I think the guy
what
has
do you
exposed
think?
himself.
Do you think Ramaphosa is going to bend the knee to Trump? I mean, if not, like 400 million, it's not coming. So the way Ramaphosa is responding, and he's not telling the world if he's taking the land or not. Do you think he's gonna bend the knee so he doesn't lose that money?
Okay, so the 400 million that they're giving us is to help fund AIDS medication.
Right.
According to the Minister of Health in South Africa, it contributes 17% of what we are spending on AIDS medication.
That's a lot of money.
But it's only 17%. So the question is, can they get it somewhere else? You see? However, so the issue here is that this year, South Africa decided to cut government spending because their debt to GDP ratio is getting too big. The South African economy is not growing. So they decided to cut government spending to pay off their debt. You see? So they let go of teachers, like even like some doctors can get jobs now. A lot of people who work for the government were let go and they're not hiring new people. So basically, yeah, that's another issue with the soldiers. Even the military budget was slightly cut. You see? So we are having a financial problem right now. So we need the money. There's no way where we can get it. So as for, is Ramaphosa gonna bend the knee?
Yeah.
So let's look into this. Ramaphosa signed a bill called Expropriation Act, not expropriation without compensation. Because expropriation without compensation requires a 2/3 majority in parliament. You can't sign it when you have 40%, which the ANC only has 40%. So the interesting thing about this whole Expropriation Act thing, you see, the parties that support expropriation of land, it's ANC, EFF, and MK. Collectively, these guys make up around 64% of the votes, right? So after Ramaphosa signed the Expropriation Act bill, MK and EFF were saying that they don't support the bill.
Why?
Their excuse, they were saying that it's like a smoke screen. They were saying the bill doesn't go far enough. They were saying Ramaphosa is trying to silence the masses that want their land. I don't know if it's true or they don't actually believe in the land thing, or especially Malema. If land expropriation is actually passed, what else is he going to campaign on,
Yeah. Well,
so
Ramaphosa, he's a businessman.
Not really. The guy was given shares in white-owned, white-built businesses because he's their puppet. They use him, so they threaten to take away his wealth if he doesn't follow their orders. So he's not a real businessman. He's never owned any business or any business.
Oh, they gave it to him.
Yeah, shares. It's worse than like affirmative action or DEI.
Oh
It's
man.
literally just handing the guys shares.
Oh man. Nothing worse
So
than
yeah,
a
here's the
affirmative
issue.
action multimillionaire.
He's a billionaire. His net worth is $500 million. So in South Africa, he's a billionaire.
Yeah.
Apparently, he also owns all the McDonald's franchises in the country. But I wonder if he's the one running it or what. So going back to the expropriation bill. So the ANC only has 40%, right? MK and EFF can get them to 64 something, right? So the problem is that you can't pass legislation without 50% of the votes, right? EFF and MK are opposing the Land Expropriation Act. So the question is, how did they get to the 50%? Since there's no other party, the rest of the other parties completely oppose it. So how did they get to that 50%? It's possible that here's the thing, the ANC is in a coalition with the DA, right? The White Party.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. In that bill requires the Minister of Public Works and Infrastructure to sign it, which is Dean McPherson from the DA. He's a white guy. He's not going to sign it, obviously. So I wonder if the DA struck a deal with the ANC to sign this Expropriation Act that doesn't go all the way, so that they can put this thing aside, so that people stop talking about it. But
So
the
like
DA doesn't want to come out in the open. You see?
Something
because
is
they don't want their
fishy there.
supporters to get angry. Yeah. So the reason I had to bring this up is, if that's the case, Dean McPherson and the people in the DA will go and tell Elon Musk, like, don't worry, we have this thing sorted. This is our way of like getting rid of the thing. You see?
That's possible.
If Elon knows that the whites were part of the deal and they maneuvered around it so that it works in their favor, you won't have a problem with it. You see? I think it will just be brushed over.
All right. We'll come back to you. We'll come back. Thank you. Ola, are you there?
Yeah, my brother.
It's been a while. How you been?
Long time, bro. God bless.
Ola, what do you think about this situation in Congo DRC? Malema sounds like he is very, very butthurt and humiliated. You know, he wants them to regroup and go after Kagame. He's upset at how Kagame spoke to them. And also, do you think they're going to bend the knee, you know, for Trump?
Okay, let me go with Kagame.
Yeah, what are they even doing in Congo?
Yeah. That is, I think South Africa have good intention to settle the peace there. I don't think South Africa have anything really. Is to settle a brotherly country.
But that's not what Kagame is saying.
Yeah, but Kagame is a very funny guy. See, Kagame have been playing double game. He's an agent also. He's a puppet. You see, for him to remain that powerful for so long, it's a very big puppet. It's a puppet to the French. It's a puppet to the United States. Also puppet to the British. You understand? He accept anything. He talk with double mouth, and I think he himself is setting up. You see, he is the only one ruling, right?
Right.
Just imagine if you have stroke like Gabon president that have stroke that says just make noise, help.
Yeah, Ali Bongo.
There's nothing forever. The problem with Congo is a confused country, and the people there also, they are very useless also. You understand me? Mobutu Seseko is a dog, it's a cat, it's of no use. You cannot even see him as a human being. He sold his country by killing his very good friend that even helped him out. You understand me? Lumumba. Since then,
but what do you think about, because you know, even the former president of South Africa, Mbeki, I played it here. He said they've tried to negotiate with the Congolese central government, but they don't want to acknowledge these people as Congolese.
Yeah, because look, that's the pride of sometimes with some Congolese also. Congolese are sometimes, their proudness is something else, but they're not really united like that because the country always be divided for a very long time. They have midges. in that country. So the major revolution is not there yet. You understand me? What we're seeing now is a set of group people who actually, one way or the other, they look the same, but some part want to pick only the money. You have to understand, Mobutu Sese Seko that set this game up. How did he die? Where did he die? Where did they bury him? They bury him like a dog somewhere in Morocco. You understand me? Look at what he used his own money to facilitate Belgium. Part of the money is what Belgium used to develop themselves. If you travel on Belgium highway, after Diamonds, if you travel on Belgium highway between Holland,
you've been there. You've been there before. You've been to Belgium.
Yeah. If you travel between Belgium highway, between Holland, you're going towards Belgium. You'll be driving on that highway, right? You don't need to on no headlight for about 100 kilometers before you might go to the city of called Leoc. What they call Leoc or Leoc. It's a French, territory. The Congolese there, they all look like zombies there. They're not really happening. They get timid. You see them sitting one can. Nothing really. The place almost look like Italy in terms of the grants, these lanestones over there. So these are Mobutu. These are Belgium wet. You understand me? Tram. Belgium could take the resources of Congo and develop them because they're the colonial master, right? And this guy play into their hands a lot. Mobutu. The Mobutu at the end of the day, this guy Kabila came in. They sold him out to Kabila. He drive until they bury him somewhere in Morocco as a very dirty dog. You understand me? Corruption. They're very, very corrupt. Nothing else. This is problem.
So what do you think about the issue now that is happening?
The issue that Congo have a very strong army that is very powerful.
They defeated them quickly. Because
the army is weak. The army is very weak.
Yeah, but why aren't you addressing why they have M23 fighting?
Hold on first. Hold on. Yeah, because this is a group of Mabi being trained
I will
by
mute
Rwanda,
for a second. Keep going.
Being trained by Rwanda to start because Rwanda need that word also. These guys are being trained and be promised you will control this place. The leader of that group is very rich. That's why I say by one man game, the other ones that follow, they're just really not important, but they're just full soldiers. Congolese, Rwanda saw 10 million population fighting 100 million something population. If you have a very strong army, do not assume 10 million. You can bring it up to about 2 million army strong population. Let's defend this our border. Rwanda will be on its knee begging because Rwanda is small. But because the army is weak, so they could use some people who are not actually happy with the central government and use them to start destabilizing the place. It's free for all. The French are using those people. The Americans are using those people. The Brits also using everything. Free for all.
When Borno was experiencing terrorist attack, did the Southern Nigerians went there to help them? No. So the country.
Who's talking? Can I finish? God damn. Well, Borno talk about Borno having this thing. Do you know?
That's me, Zango man. That's me, Zango man. That's me speaking.
Do you know how many? Do you know how many?
I mean, the point I'm trying to make is that Congo is not really unified.
Do you know how many Southern soldiers are fighting in Borno?
It's not really unified. Congo is
okay.
Finish. I listen to you talk. You cutting me in.
Zongo, you gotta let's make it fast so the others can chime in too.
So what you're saying is, even we talk about Nigeria have a central army system. There are some traitors inside the Nigerian army that is supporting these Fulani people and their men, their politicians, but they didn't stop fighting. They still fighting them. When you have an internal strong army that will not just disagree like that, continue to fight them. Then if you talk, that's all about Congo, the weak army, the government is corrupt, they all be used there. It's not going to. This probably not going to solve it. Congo have a very strong, powerful army. They do the needful because you cannot win this war with military power alone. You have to include everybody.
Ola, what do you think about Malema's statements towards Kagame?
Yeah, Malema is just speaking. They hurt his voice now. So he's under emotion, he's stressed, he's annoyed. They kill some of his countrymen. You understand me? South Africa have no chance. They will not, stand a chance there. These people are from that zone. They know much about the terrain. They are fighting for a cause. South Africa is not ready for that place. South Africa just keep peace. So South Africa will not have that motivation and that will to start fighting these boys. Those boys, they're coming to die. They're not coming to live. South Africa is coming to live there, to be alive. So if I fight you in my land, I fight you to die. But because it's not your land, you can't really do much. You understand me? So then you have to withdraw, or regroup. Or no, you can't regroup, or you disappear. You understand me? So that's what Malema speak of the emotion. Sanction against South Africa. You see, this is the problem of when we talk here. People started talking about sometimes I wonder. Lozo said that always talk about GDP with this, with that, with this, with that, with this, with that. Since South Africa gained their independence, my guy, Mandela was being used as a pawn. When Mandela came out, what did they do? They disappeared the real stubborn one that would not agree, which is that his wife, and lay all kind of allegations on her. Then, what did they do? They trump up Mandela with media. I call him hero. Hero. The guy they call terrorist now become hero. He starts sleeping in the European palaces, British palaces, the Dutch palaces, Denmark palaces. He starts sleeping on royal bed. And they start serving him food with royal stamp, cookies, cookies biscuit with royal stamp on it, with a special tea, with a royal cup of tea. You understand me? So Mandela, I can't blame him. He'll be there for years. He's old now. He's something.
No,
at least he just wants to enjoy.
Who?
Mandela.
No, so Mandela passed away a while back.
Yeah, no, but it came from that problem, see.
Oh.
You see, when you have independence, but you don't really have the economical power, but you have a little bit kind of the political power. And if you want to extend that political power, they will creep it. This is why people there, right? They have allies.
So you're saying they're going to do what Trump says?
Oh, God, what do you think, man? What do you think? What you think the end of black people ruling South Africa slowly is coming to an end? It's not about Trump. They be trying to blackmail this government for a very long time. They be using media. Oh, they're seizing the light. Oh, they're cutting the light. They're not working well. They use media for years. After Mandela's death, you understand me? They be using media to disqualify these black rulers as incompetent. They are this, they are that, they are this, they are that, they are this, they are that. You know, what freaked them out is what happened in Zimbabwe. You understand me? Since then, they've been using one eye and be calculating them. The end of black. You see, that doesn't say they can use anybody as a puppet. In South Africa, there are other puppets also they can also use also. You understand me? All that lot of puppets are there. So this ANC, their end is coming slowly. You know, they've been in power for too long. Some of them, they're very corrupt. They don't carry out, people along or whatever they want. Or you cannot really blame them. You understand me? When you want to move, the other group of people that is watching you, they have also a very loud voice and very deep pocket. They have firepower. They also have a very big ally called United States and the British and the whole of European Union. You understand me? So it was during Mandela time. They already laid this thing on the ground. Bring him out, let it get what it want, put him on the royal chair, let him visit all the royal palaces, gave him Elizabeth Taylor number, that actress that died. Let him start calling Elizabeth Taylor, the movie that he watched in that prison about Elizabeth Taylor, all these superstars. Let him start greeting them, blow his trumpet up, and at the end of the day, it's an old man. He will not stay up to 20 years, will be dead. You understand me? That's what they did. And
let's bring in St. James.
Yeah, so that's what
we'll come back to you. St. James, welcome to the Afrodamus Report.
Hi, Afrodamus. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. St. James, what do you think about the DRC situation that is taking place? Kagame's statement, Malema's statement?
Wow, the situation in the Congo is very complex. I can say we all grew up on that issue, right? This situation has been going on for over 30 years. And for those people who don't know about the Congo, Kagame has been in that area for a very long time. He grew up there, and his troops. So these people really know the area very well. They grew up fighting. They are fighters. You know, they don't want for nothing. So anybody who want to get them out of there, you gotta be about the business of war. It's not about sitting in South Africa or sitting somewhere else in the world talking about the situation in the Congo. It's not gonna stop. The only way it's gonna stop is when troops are moving in and challenging Kagame and his people. That's the only way it's gonna happen. And on the flip side, in the Congo, right? I know my Congo people, right? They're gonna be mad at me. These guys, they're not about the business. They cannot stand up to Kagame. You know, this kid grew up trying to look up to the Belgians. They're trying to dress like Europeans. They eat fancy, they dress fancy, they act fancy. This is not a joke. So if, you know, like I said, it's been over 30 years, you know, and you see the president going to Europe talking to these European trying to come up with a solution. It's not going to happen. Kagame is going to the same places, you know, and all these people are pretending to solve the issue, but they're not.
So what
Everybody
do you
is
think
a
about what
hypocrite.
Kagame said? Ramaphosa, South African president, is playing games. You know, he said he's playing peacemaker, but he's not really.
Afadamas, when you send your
South
troops,
Africans are there to protect,
when you send your troop,
you know, the interests of
when
other.
you send your troop to a foreign land, like what is peacekeeping in the middle of a war? Let's not be jokester over here, bro. What's peacekeeping? What kind of peace are we keeping over there in the Congo for over 30 years and nothing is happening? We grew up watching that issue, man. Let's not play like, you know, South Africa. Are they benefiting from the situation or they're not? There is no peacekeeping going on in that area. So who they are lying to?
So
in order to even be peacekeeping, there ought to be an agreement.
So,
who
are you shocked though to hear the Pan-African Malema letting Africans know they got the biggest army?
Well, if you have the biggest army, you gotta be about the business, right? So as far as we're seeing, there is no there is no winning on their side. So there is no such thing as a big army. Like I said, everybody has the biggest army until it comes time to fight. You understand? War is not sitting in your in the comfort of your living room talking about I got the biggest army. You gotta be battle ready, battle tested. You gotta show results.
That's
the world is not about I got the biggest army. Who you trying to impress? These people in the Congo, they're not. I told you these people grew up fighting. You know what that means? They don't know nothing else but fight. So,
and also, do you think South Africa is going to bend the knee?
Well, I mean, it depends on how much the U.S. has on them, right? I was surprised that America is funding South Africa. I didn't even know, you know. So it depends on how much Trump can get out of them, you know, to settle them. You know, if they have too much to lose, of course they're gonna leave. They're gonna let Congo down. Trust me, it's gonna happen.
Oh no, it's not about Congo. It's about the land reforms.
Well, I mean, you talking about the land?
Yeah.
I mean, are they wrong trying to take back their land? I don't think so. But I mean, if they
but what I'm saying is,
right?
Do you see Trump and Elon is saying, you know, South African government is practicing racism,
right?
So he's saying he's going to put sanctions on them if they went ahead with taking the land, like Zimbabwe. Right. So the way I'm saying South Africa, do you think they are going to go that route or negotiate with Trump?
I believe the best way is to try to prove to the world that you are taking the land in a proper manner. You know, you're not. I believe I'm not sure. It's like that's their land to take to begin with. I don't know how you have to negotiate with Trump. I mean, if Trump wants to put sanctions, it depends on what kind of leverage it has over South Africa. Can South Africa be South Africa with sanctions? I believe if they can't, I mean, they have to go through that situation. If they cannot, well, they have to find another way, to address that with Trump. But I do believe that
so far from what you've been seeing,
right,
even Canada, Mexico, everyone has been talking tough till they bend the knee. From what we've been seeing,
to me personally, I want to see the size of the sanctions. At this time, I really don't know what type of sanction Trump has to impose on South Africa. To be honest, I just don't want to throw myself in there without seeing the size of the sanction. We have to see it. If sometime
they're gonna they're gonna stop 400 million aid.
Well, that the South Africa can live with that. To be honest with you, like I don't. Yeah,
I don't think so. But
you don't think so?
Let's bring in Lozi. Lozi can help us.
Okay.
I mean, because Ramaphosa is doing whatever it takes. So
okay, let the South Africans speak so we can.
Lozi, welcome to the Afrodamus report.
Greetings, African.
Greetings.
How are you?
I'm well. Lozi.
Yeah.
Lozi, what is South Africa doing in the Congo DRC, and also why is Malema issuing threat to Rwanda, but he's like, we can't fight them right now. We gotta go train, pretty much admitting defeat, that these Rwandans are better. We'll get to the Trump part. What is your take on South Africa in the DRC to begin with?
Look,
Lozi,
first
are you
of
there?
all, greetings to your panel, Afridamas, and greetings to you, brother. Long time, man.
Long time.
Yeah, look. Yeah. Can you hear me, Afridamas?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Yeah, long time, brother. Can you hear me very well?
Yes, go ahead. We can hear you now.
Yeah, before I respond, man, I believe our military. Yeah, I believe South African military, we should take advantage of most African countries that are like in chaos. Like Africa doesn't have stable countries. So I think we must be expanding our interest in many African countries than even just DRC and the few ones that we've got our military. We should be growing our military bases all over Africa. I mean, we lost an opportunity to work with Ibrahim Traore and the leader of Niger there in the Sahel region. I mean, I would have loved to see Russia. I would have liked them to partner with South Africa if we had that strong military to push our interest. So we are in DRC to push our interest first.
You guys are testing. You're testing it in Congo, and South Africa is not militarily cutting it. Have you taken that into account?
No, South Africa hasn't started its working with in terms of military power with the DRC region. Remember, South Africa has been in DRC for more than 25 years now, I think, in terms of military. Our military has been in Congo for more than 20 years now. So this is just an additional of soldiers. And if you follow up on that case of M23 and our 9 soldiers that lost their lives, it was not a direct combat like that. They haven't started to attack a SADC directly. And that's SADC, first of all. It's not like South Africa. It's not like South African military. It's SADC. It's Southern region military. So there's rules in that, because they also went as peace mission. So there's a way you conduct yourself when you go on a peace mission. It's not like South Africa.
Oh, wait, is it like ECOWAS of the southern part of Africa?
Yeah, something like that. But ECOWAS is the biggest thing. Yeah, but the difference is this one can succeed. That's why Kisigeri came to call on and SADC, not ECOWAS. ECOWAS are biggest losers.
I was just saying
insignificant in terms of Africa. Now SADC is the one that is the most trusted peacekeeping.
Yeah, but Kagame said.
Congo, you spoke, man. Can you just shut up, man?
Congo, let him finish.
No, I just want some clarity. I just wanted some clarity. That's all. I wasn't trying to...
just shut it for now, man.
Yeah, let him finish. Then you can ask him. Go ahead, Lozi.
Man, Zongo, you shouldn't be talking, man. Ghana is insignificant. You are in, yeah, you are in America, and Ghana is
Man,
not doing anything in
oh,
Africa. It's not
let
a
him
big deal.
talk.
Let's just cut it for now.
Man.
Yeah. So yeah, Afridamas. As I was explaining, this is it's still a peacekeeping mission.
Are you there?
But of course, Afridamas, South Africa, we're there pushing our own interest first. I mean, this thing of peacekeeping. Afridamas, can you hear me?
Yeah, but you're going in and out though.
Our own interest, Lozi, or the interest of multinationals.
Am I clear now?
Yeah, you're
Am I
going
clear
in
now,
and out.
Afridamas?
Your audio is okay. Go ahead. I can hear you now.
Yeah, civilized men. I think you're too ignorant, man. Just keep quiet. Your opinions are not facts, man. You don't know nothing. Just keep quiet for now. I heard you talking a lot of ignorant shit. Just keep your mouth shut. You believe this propaganda spread by Malema of foreign. Yeah. So Afridamas. So I was in Congo last year, November, and I'll be going back after this thing settled, maybe around March or May. I'm doing projects there. So I have seen the site in Kinshasa. I'm doing projects in Kinshasa, but I've seen the site of DRC on the ground. The problem of Goma, it's not exception. Like it's not Goma and the Banyamulenge people and the Tutsis that are there after the tribal war in Rwanda. These people are not like exception to DRC. The truth is that the DRC of Congo, the resources of Congo are not benefiting anyone. You get what I'm saying? Congo, it's not like a functioning country. It's the instability level. It's crazy. When you walk around Kinshasa, which they call a capital city, that thing looks like a run-down place in South African cities. You know, the whole country is not benefiting from its resources. What you see happening in that Goma region is that there's a rare earth resource that is very, very important to the current tech around the world. And they are extracting it to the core, right? Now, they are coming with these groups like the Banyamulenge people, the Tutsis, the M23, as if they are fighting for some sort of freedom and liberation for all that nonsense. And they are using Paul Kagame, who's a puppet, to pass through his country to settle there and get the resources. I think that the solution for DRC is this. South Africa or SADC military won't help Congo. It's a temporary solution. The Congo needs to sit down with the people of Goma and come up with a contract that can be facilitated by African Union, maybe even United Nations, all these global organizations and regional organizations that can facilitate to help. The DRC government needs to strike a deal with the people of
but they don't want to. They don't want to.
But that can be achieved because the military is not going to achieve anything. These rebels are going to continue to be funded and armed by countries like Israel, and Paul Kagame is just used as a bridge into that. At the end of the day, the SADC military need to hold on until the M23 can come on the table. But M23 currently now, 3 days ago, I think they said they're willing to negotiate. I think 2 days ago they came back and said they started to fire, right? But if they
Malema is saying he's saying South African army is weak. He said South African army is weak.
Malema has never held a gun in his entire life. He's an idiot. He wins votes by 9%. He's an insignificant moron in our country. So his opinion doesn't matter. He knows nothing. He has never been in any military camp. He knows fuck all. He's a career politician. Let me tell you facts. What I think can work for Afridamas. What can work for DRC is that the people of Goma region have to have development projects for the resources that are on that region. That's the only way. Because now
they are not acknowledging them though.
No, they are, Afridamas. You are falling for propaganda. That's what. Remember, the people who are stealing the resources that they want to shift us from the real deal. We have to concentrate now on these minorities that everyone in DRC is suffering. The people of Banyamulenge or the Tutsis, they are not.
But even Thabo Mbeki spoke about this, that they've been trying to get Kinshasa to, you know.
I don't trust Thabo Mbeki to the core, but he has a point. He was a president at some point. Look, I only put Ramaphosa after Mandela. I think Ramaphosa, compared to Zuma and Thabo Mbeki, He's a very sophisticated leader who's very what is the word? He's unpredictable.
Ramaphosa?
Yeah, he's very unpredictable. And I'll get to the American sanction nonsense. But let me just try to tell you what can be solution for that DRC region. They have to strike a deal with those.
Ramaphosa is the worst president we've ever had. Come on.
Man, I'm not gonna suffer your ignorance, man. I think stupid people should stop calling to Africa.
No, Lodi. I think you're going to have to explain what is saying.
Guys, one mic. Hold on, one mic.
Okay, so I did not interrupt this idiot here when he was speaking. Did I interrupt anyone, Afridamas? So what I'm trying to say, Afridamas, is that the only way is to get the people of Goma to benefit from those resources, and we need to start seeing developing projects taking place there. And the government of Congo needs to benefit, because at the moment, even the government of Congo doesn't benefit as it should from the worth of those resources there. I think it's called, one of them, it's called cobalt. They've got lots of copper and all that. So what needs to happen is that African Union, if it was a working organization, it must step in through diplomacy, only through diplomacy. This thing of Paul Kagame and M23 going with military is only going to create chaos, because when M23 and Paul Kagame start to extract those resources and sell them in the black market and steal them, even the people of Goma still won't benefit. So both sides, whether they're dealing with M23 or the government, if they don't strike a good deal through bigger organizations, they're not going to get anything at all. So both sides are willing to steal from that region. Now, ask me a question about the sanctions from America to...
Yeah, the sanctions, South Africa going to bend the knee. I mean, Ramaphosa already... according to the news here, Elon's father said the president called him, wanted to talk to Elon directly. So do you think South Africa is going to bend the knee?
Yeah, well, the white people in this country have always been the security guards of the Western Empire, you know. Me, I'm not surprised. I mean, Elon Musk is a very influential man and a very stupid man at that as well. These people, at some point, we have to get them out of our country, but we can't now. They still hold power, right? A global power as well. I mean, many African countries, they control them remotely. At least us, they need to be on the ground to control us, because we are very aggressive. The point
Why
is
do we
this,
need to get them out of the country?
Man, can you stop yeah. So no, South Africa won't. The Ramaphosa won't bend the knee. Remember, even our biggest trading partner is China, right? And South Africa, it's on BRICS. What I think it's going to happen is that America, it's a crumbling empire. It's an empire that it's losing its influence. And Trump behaves like we are 20 years ago. We are no longer America.
Trump is achieving everything he's setting out. Everyone that's talked off, they are doing what he wants them to do.
No. At the end of the day, America is competing with China, and other countries are just gonna buy temporary time now. They're gonna react the way to please America, but eventually they lost trust on America. What's gonna happen is that China is growing fast, and everywhere America throws, when America loses most countries and bully many countries, China invests there. China is replacing wherever America goes wrong. So that is what is happening. Trump, I thought he will be better than Biden in terms of geopolitics and diplomacy, but I think he's more stupid than what I thought. So this guy is gonna destroy the empire faster than even Biden, because now, you know, America is still powerful. I'm not underestimating that, but he is biting more than he can chew. At the end of the day, when America goes all out on war with everyone, who do you think is going to benefit? China, because China now is leading in their soft power.
Even China, their economy, right? Even China, right? America, you know, it's getting them to, you know, bend the knee on a lot of stuff.
Not really. Look,
because their economy, their money. China does not invent anything.
Afridamas, this is not a Hollywood movie. America.
No, I know. I'm talking in reality.
Come on. America depends on the ego now, right? It's all about ego feeding now. China, let's be honest, China is growing powerful than America, like unstoppable. So the Chinese are using their soft power very, very careful. It's America that is going to lose, because when you go all out on war with everyone, how can America take over the whole world like that? It's only going to benefit China. South Africa, we still depend on America for many things, but America is no longer the key player in terms of our economy. our biggest trading partner is China. What do you think that tells you? He's talking about 400 million of aid to South Africa.
I think more than that, because he's gonna slap sanctions.
Yeah, but yeah, he can slap sanctions to us.
Because
we can
he's saying you guys are gonna become, Zimbabwe 2.0.
No, come on, Africa. South Africa is not your normal African country. We are not there.
No,
that's why
he said Trump said he checked with Pretoria. He said he checked with Pretoria, and he said it's not looking good.
Sanctioning South Africa, if it hurts our economy, it affects the whole Africa. Have you seen the amount of investment of South Africa into Africa, the amount of exports and imports, and America benefits there as well. The AGOA systems were set directly through South Africa. South Africa is like a bridge into Africa, whether it's coming from the Eastern Empire, the Chinese, or whether it's coming from the Western Empire, be it America. So yes, they can still impose sanctions on us, but it's not going to be as easy as sanctioning Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe, it's not even a regional powerhouse. South Africa is the most powerful country in the Southern Hemisphere. So that alone is not just going to affect South Africa. So it's going to be a huge strategical sanctions, but it's going to be imposed on the entire Africa. Where do you think it's just going to push the rest of other African countries further away from the West as well? Because once they can feel the heat coming from sanctioning in South Africa, what do you think they're going to do? They're going to depend more and more into China. They're going to fall more and more into the hands of China. We have got a leverage as well. It's not as powerful as you can imagine, but South Africa is not your average typical country that you can just wake up and bully us as you wish. There's some leverage we have and we are a member of BRICS, remember. So the countries like India, China, Russia, they produce a lot of stuff. So they are our biggest trading partner. BRICS now is our biggest trading partner. So we can still get around.
Well,
Australia is the most powerful country in the Southern Hemisphere.
Go ahead, civilized one. What did you say?
I said Australia is the most powerful country in the Southern Hemisphere. I think Lozi is going to have to explain why he says I'm speaking nonsense, because I heard this guy say things that I just saw off. I couldn't believe it. I think, Lozi, you said you heard me speaking a lot of shit and propaganda. Can you tell me what I said that was shit and propaganda?
You military. You said You said our military is in DRC pushing the Western corporates, which you don't have evidence of that, and that's what I called bullshit.
It wasn't a declaration. It wasn't a statement. It was a. When I said it, I said I heard it from Julius Malema. I said that makes sense to me. I didn't say I'm 100% sure of it.
My brother, you and me, we are brothers. We are both South Africans, and I'm sorry if I said some aggressive words. I'll take that. But Julius Malema said, like he said many things that are wrong. You just don't take facts from Julius Malema. He's a career politician who's a populist, brother. So once in a while, he says some things that are correct. Yes, a broken clock is twice correct a day, brother. You know Julius Malema.
No. Julius Malema, maybe when it comes to internal politics.
Wait 1 second, Lozi. Some Nightingale has a question for you. Say, why didn't South Africa use the leverage Lozi is talking about instead of calling Elon's dad?
Yeah, I mean, remember, Africa, Zongo, can I just speak, man? You know, there's always these Africans from insignificant countries like Ghana who always have opinions about our country, who speaks a lot. But anyway, don't interrupt me, Zongo, with your petty laugh, which we know it's a painful laugh anyway. But look, I'm not saying South Africa is all that powerful. Ramaphosa is going to try to balance the dynamics for now, because we still depend on America for many things. But under the worst case scenario, if America continues to push and bully us, South Africa is not an average country that we're just going to crumble overnight. I mean, I think the biggest issue here is that Elon Musk is supporting Israel, and Biden, and Trump and Biden, they support Israel. The biggest
why
thing
did he
is
give another salute if he supports Israel?
Have you noticed, Afridamas, have you noticed that when these idiots speak, I don't interrupt anyone. I keep quiet. Can we be civilized?
Let's be civilized.
Can you guys learn from me? I'm a South African. I'm civilized. Cheese. Just relax. So all I'm saying, Afridamas, is that the beef here is the fact that South Africa took Israel to the ICC court. That's the beef. That's the biggest beef.
Yeah,
and
but
they have to they have to teach us a lesson. But all I'm saying is that America, there was a point I was very, very afraid of America. The power was just unmatched. But not today, brother. They can still harm us, but we can survive. South Africa definitely can survive the sanctions of USA. I think most Africans who are jealous of us are longing to see the day South Africa crumbles and be sanctioned, because they want to share the misery. It's not going to happen. We're not just going to collapse like that. We are a very strong country. And
so, Lozi, you think secretly some Africans, especially Nigerians and others, are secretly excited about this?
But you see, we've got people like Ola today. He's a Nigerian. He spoke well of South Africa. We've got people like Zongo, who's a weirdo, by the way. He's a Ghanaian, so jealous of South Africa. I'm like, what do we have to do with Ghana? What did we do to you? We don't even, you are that far, but you have so much opinions about us and negative ones as well, because of that typical jealous. Afridamas, we too successful.
Man, nobody's jealous of South Africa, man. Shut your dumb ass up.
Hold on, guys, let's not ruin the.
Yes, you can't be South Africa and be this successful and be surrounded by losers and think we will be loved. Of course, I'm expecting this kind of jealousy and resentment and envy from people like Zongo. He's coming from a miserable country like Ghana. Of course, he's gonna be jealous.
Zongo is happy he's tax because you gotta be nice to him, because Zongo's tax dollars are going there now.
Man, when Mandela was fighting apartheid, Rawlings
Congo is paying taxes in America now. Now he's sending you welfare checks.
Man, Ghana paid South Africa money for their freedom. He's here out here like acting like they
Zongo, you can barely feed your people. How did you pay us money for apartheid?
Let's not do the Ghana war, please. Zongo.
Yeah,
please tell us what leverage we have.
Zongo, why did you laugh at the leverage question?
Civilized, you need to read more books. You need to read more. Just let's allow Zongo.
No, you were asked a question and you didn't answer it.
Okay, you respond to that first.
Didn't I mention? Didn't I say that our biggest trading partner already is China, which is the BRICS countries? Didn't I mention that?
No.
What leverage do we have over America?
I never said we have got leverage over America. Can you listen carefully when I speak?
You did. That's why the question was asked.
Oh my God. I said we have got some sort of leverage. I never said over America. That's different. To say we have got some, oh my God. I said South Africa is
elaborate then on that
country. On the leverage we have. South Africa, as I even said that South Africa is connected, the economy of South Africa has connected the entire, the blueprint of South African economy is seen across the continent. I even elaborated by saying this: once you crumple the economy of South Africa, you will affect many African economies, which means you're gonna make those countries be pushed further into the hands of China to make up where South Africa lost as well. Because have you seen how many South African companies are across Africa, brother? Have you seen that? Crumbling the systems that already exist, it's gonna push just African countries further to China, which is what America doesn't want.
Let me read this. Hold on, guys. Hold on.
Because of South Africa's presence.
Hold on. Let me read this.
What are you talking about?
Hold on. Bon Voyage wrote something funny. He said, if the US wants South African chicks, you better ask how wide you want them to spread. Thank you for that, buddy.
Well, after that was I'll respond.
Okay, can I ask this civilized man some question? Are you even a South African? Are you civilized? Are you a South African man?
Yeah.
So you've got people.
You know who I am.
So you've got people insulting your country. You have people insulting your country, and you're okay with that? Like, I mean, what kind of a cock are you?
Man, nobody's insulting South Africa. Like, nobody's insulting South Africa, man. Why are you insinuating that?
Zongo, keep it short, man. You are wearing
guys, hold on.
I feel I was like, let me respond. See, the fact that Ramaphosa had to speak to Elon's dad, he could have used the diplomatic, institution to communicate with the Trump administration, but he had to use the back door. This clearly shows you that, like, the way Lozi is projecting South Africa, it's not really as it's supposed to be. He has to use back door.
Zongo.
oh, please, can you speak to your son to speak to Trump, please? We want that aid money. That's what it actually means, actually.
No, that's not what happened. Let me explain to you what actually happened. So the reason they had to speak to Elon is because he's the one telling Trump these things. Okay. You see, Elon is one of those white people who left South Africa right at the end of apartheid. So he basically wants to resist anything that like removes apartheid and its remainders. So the land is one of those things. So he
No, I
prepares
agree.
South Africa to remain in a state of apartheid.
I agree.
He's the one who's pushing this lie. That's why they're speaking to him.
No, let me say something. Zongo was right about. No, Zongo was right about Ramaphosa telling Elon Musk father to talk with Elon. It's embarrassing. So Ramaphosa has been going back and forth with Elon Musk and Trump on Twitter. That has happened. He pushed back. But I think, Zongo, it's rich coming from you, where we saw Nana Akufo begging in the White House last year, begging and saying that it's rich. He was busy there trading for Biden. He was busy there trading for Biden and begging America to come and deal with Burkina Faso. I think you should be the last person to talk. Just keep it quiet.
But I can say it emphatically.
You don't even live in Ghana. You live there in the West, man. Keep quiet.
Yeah, but I can say emphatically that Akufo-Addo is a coon. I mean, nobody's denying that fact, though. You wouldn't find a Ghanaian who's going to come on this platform trying to defend the indefensible. It hasn't worked that way. This is very clear. There's no way China or some, like the way you boast, like the country that is strong in the southern hemisphere.
Zongo, are you jealous of my country, Zongo? Zongo, are you jealous of South Africa? Are you not jealous, man?
No, man.
The development of my country paining you. We are so developed. Are you jealous of that?
No,
you want us to look like Ghana. You wish we could look like Ghana.
No. For me, what really saddens me a lot.
Like jealous.
Wait, I don't want to. I don't want
to. Lodi, let him speak. Let him speak.
I don't want to divert. I don't even divert this conversation to South Africa and Ghana, because the topic is about what really transpired between Rwanda and Congo, and how South Africans also came into play, right? Because we in the West, if something even happened in Africa, they don't give a damn about what country you come from, man. They're gonna tag you. When they were showing CNN about the aid, they're gonna block the aid. You didn't see the pictures they posted? Some hungry black people they showed. Right or wrong, Africans, you didn't see that picture? When they were speaking about aid, they send aid to all countries, right? But when they wanted to justify why aid is very important, guess the group of people they showed on the TV, on CNN. Guess. Both on Fox and CNN. Some hungry black people in Africa. So regardless, they're going to tag everybody along, For me, what really saddens my heart is that after, what we have gone through in the whole continent, we still come to the stage where you see people, going to other countries and fighting, all in the name of, tribalism. But when you dig deeper, it's beyond tribalism. It's about resources and who really benefits. It's not really the people on the continent that benefit. It's mostly people from outside. These are the real questions that we got to tackle. Because I remember when I was in college, I wasn't an international relations student, but when I went to one class about international relations, they say for a group in a country to revolt against the government, they definitely have a supporting from an outside government. So the question, M23, who's really supporting them? Who's giving them the weapons? Who's training them?
Malema is implying that it's France, and France is supporting Kagame. So Kagame is the one supporting them.
Yeah, but Trump, it will be very clear if we know the multinational companies that are actually in that country operating over there. Because every country, when you see America, like in Ghana, America trying to have their base or something in Ghana, it's not because they love Ghana. They are protecting their companies over there, pretty much.
Right.
Every country putting their base, not because they love your country or they want to protect your security. No. They are protecting their the companies that are operating your countries.
But we know also, like Lozi, I was gonna ask Lozi this, right? Lozi, what do you make of, like earlier what Diego said about, if the lands are taken from the white farmers and given to the blacks, then South Africa is going to starve because a lot of the blacks don't know how to farm. What do you make of that?
You know, Africans are so poor, their countries are so poor that they've never seen an example of black people developing or building anything. So there's even South Africans who believe these things. Am I there to judge them and blame them? No, black people haven't built things. So it can be true that if the white farmers in South Africa are more experienced than black people, and if they all leave, the land is taken from them and it's no longer productive, it's going to crumble our economy. So our economy won't be the same. That's only logical. I think that we must protect the strategic land that are key to our economy, even if it means it's the white farmer who's there for a moment. I think what we should do as Black South Africans, and I think we've been doing this maybe perhaps, because we've got a strong agricultural sector and agricultural universities. Remember, Freedomers, our universities are the best in Africa, by the way. So there's lots of black graduates who are now farming as well. I just hope that it's enough for ourselves to sustain our own development if the Muzungus were all to be removed. I'm not confident about that, but I hope for the best. You know.
Oh no. Lozi is see all this idea like this white or something. It's all about training and experience. If deep down people really want to develop, like, because obviously there's whole like experience gap, right? If like let's say I come to your country, I have wealth of experience, I want to establish my company and everything, but deep down I want to make money, but I also want to help the group or your people in your country. I will have to also develop them to make sure they reach my level, so that they're gonna be some sort of like transfer of skills from my end or my company onto the people over there. That in case I'm not around, the people should be able to like manage and sustain the company over there or like the activities over there. It's easy. It's about are they really training those black people? If they are not doing that, or most people are not really going to those business like that, that's where we're gonna have some sort of vacuum when they really take everything from the white people. It's all about I mean, because we a lot of black people or people from other nationalities, they come to America. You see them leading like top corporations and companies over here. It's possible in South Africa. It's about who is really training them to actually do the job. Actually, that's
Yeah,
the
but
that's the
Zongo, the most industrialized blacks in Africa, it's us. So if we can manage South Africa after white people, that means there's no
Yes.
black people who can in Africa. So you understand what I'm saying, Zongo? We're the most industrial blacks already. So that means if we fail, what about the rest of Africa? It's just gonna be total chaos. Then you get what I'm saying? We have been living in the most industrial country in Africa, learning all these skills, having the best universities where all the skills are here, matching the universities across the globe. So I'm sure there's something there. What could interrupt us is the capital. Remember, now we operate under the system of capitalism. Once they remove the capital from you, can't grow. That's the story of the whole of Africa. The only
man.
advantage
Stop
we have
like
as
I mean, stop getting
so can I give
delusional.
my opinion
Talk
since
about
I'm
the
also
aid.
South
Hold on,
African?
guys. Hold on, guys. Allow Diego to speak. He's been
Yes,
quiet for. Go ahead,
Go ahead.
Diego.
yes. Can we just talk about the aid thing? Because this
Yes.
stuff, I think it's getting old.
Right.
And let's apply a rule. Speak each person 2 minutes, something like that. So
No, yeah,
move.
that's true. And
You mean
guys, hold on. Diego is right, guys. Let's do round of quick 60 seconds each person, and don't
the
interrupt.
the USID thing, the
Yes,
USA
yes,
ID? Okay.
yes. So yes, I want to say that I support the Trump stance as far as the USA ID, US aid. That's how it's called where I'm from. Uh, I actually have a family member who lost the job. My stepmother, she lost her job because uh, Trump withdrew,
The
the
funds.
US aid. So I agree with it because she worked directly in healthcare, so I know that the inefficiencies of it. So that aid was misused. The hospitals here where I'm from, they don't even have lighting and things like that. So the US aid used to serve for that nonsense, for buying pens to the people in the hospitals and buying the books, things like that. So before Trump became president, Joe Biden, Kamala Harris actually will pledge 400 million, to the U.S. aid here in my country. But here's the problem: my country didn't have a budget for the health care. You see, so this U.S. aid actually makes the countries prone for corruption. because not only the politicians become inefficient because they don't have an incentive to make the system works because they believe they depend on the aid, they actually stifle the money as well. You see, so I believe that what Trump did was actually the right stance, and that's what I wanted to say.
All right, let's bring
Yeah.
in.
Let me give you my point about the U.S. See the the USAID. You know, I mean, they provide like all sort of like assistance to this their host countries across, because since it's about Afrocentric topics. So let's just take, even in Ghana they do provide aid. They help to foster democracy in agriculture, even economic prosperity between America and Ghana, and also in the health sector and education as well, right? I mean, when you look at a budget, generally, you know, a huge chunk of the money goes to the employees rather than the targeted like recipients, right? Because you have to have some sort of like huge institution, an office building, have some sort of accountant, a project group, so all the monies goes to those employees within that institutions, and the targeted recipients, they are the ones that generally tend to have like maybe 5 or 10% of the targeted funding, right? Yes, it's gonna really affect a lot of this, African countries, especially in Ghana, because they rely heavily on this aid to help, supplement their budgetary needs. So if they are not gonna be receiving this funding, then there's gonna be a lot of problems coming ahead. But I really understand where Trump is really coming from, because especially in case of Ghana. Wait, let me finish.
Zongo.
Wait, let me finish. Let me finish this up. Especially in the case of Ghana, they were trying to foster this LGBTQ community stuff in Ghana, because this is what Trump was talking about. Really, I think the Secretary of State Marco Rubio was saying that generally what they are promoting, it tend to antagonize the host countries, and it really does not really conform with the
With the
foreign
norms.
policies. Yeah, foreign policies of the US. So they want to really, the aid that they provide, it really has to align with the interests of the US, not really antagonize these host countries, and because it's not really a charity organization. Yeah, it's really
It's
sad
a
situation.
money laundering scheme. But let's, Lozi, go ahead.
Go ahead, Lozy.
All right, Lozi, are you there?
I mean, Joseph.
All
I
right,
mean, see.
let's allow St. James or Civil. Oh, go ahead, Lozi, you're back.
If we can cut all aid. Yeah, I'm here, Afridamas. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Afridamas, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I was gonna tell Zongo that this aid, I never approved of it. I never knew that we even getting that aid here in South Africa. I think they should take it and cut it, because it's gonna cut dependency and more ties. These shadow governments that are operating us, some of it is coming through this aid. And Afridamas, I'm against this influx of migrants into my country, and I think the West are behind it. So if they cut this aid, maybe it might give us our government balls to also reduce the influx of migrants.
Oh man, your audio is messed up. Let's bring Civilized Man.
Okay. So Lozi said he wants the aid to be cut. So I have to completely disagree with him there. Like I said earlier, South Africa is experiencing budget cuts. Like, government spending was reduced. That means we don't have anywhere else to get the money. The US aid contributed 17% of our HIV treatment budget. So if you carry it, it's going to move us backwards. Right now, we have around 81% of people who are living with HIV having a virally suppressed load, meaning that they can infect another person with HIV even if they had unprotected sex with them. So we need more money to get that number to 100%. We shouldn't carry it. If we cut the spending, we're going to move backwards, and the disease is going to spread some more. You see? So Lozi also mentioned that if you cut the aid, maybe it will reduce foreign control of our country.
Civilized man.
Hold
You
on,
said
let him
maybe.
finish.
I
Let him
didn't say.
finish.
So I have to
Let
disagree
me
with that as
correct.
well. So the reason I say that, he's saying that we should cut down something.
Civilized man. Let me correct.
Hold on, Lozi. Let him finish. Let him finish.
He's saying you should cut aid, which is something that we know has like tangible, guaranteed value into our country, in exchange for getting something that you're not completely sure about, which is the removal of foreign interference. You are not sure that aid is the thing that does it. He also mentioned illegal immigrants, saying the West might be behind it. The thing is, there are illegal immigrants in America as well. Are you saying that America is allowing illegal immigrants into their country because they're also receiving aid? You see? So I don't think we're going to gain anything from cutting aid. I think they should go and talk to the Americans, you know.
No, but
and
Lozi had a point in the case of like education, and outside Ghana's case study, for instance, right? Some like the
Yes. No.
LGBTQ stuff that way.
Can I just respond?
Okay, go ahead. I'll let you.
The LGBTQ stuff.
Yeah, that they were promoting usually came from that aid. Actually, they were teaching the kids in school. So
Like, are you sure about that?
Oh man, I used to
Can I
work for.
respond?
I used to wait, Lozi. I'll let you just real quick. I used to work for.
Yeah. Let me just quickly.
Okay,
Civilized man. Let me just quickly.
Quickly, what?
I think Lozi's audio.
Lozi, go ahead. Okay, I think that's why he's not listening.
Yeah, he's got that DRC Congo headphone.
Okay, Afridamas, can you hear me? I think I've got a delay on my. I have
go
a
ahead,
delay.
Lozi.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I mean, you got that Congolese Wi-Fi.
Hello. Yeah, like I was saying, okay, since he's kind of muted his mic, I said the case study in Ghana, like I used to be an intern. No, I mean a national service.
But Zongo, how
personnel.
can you say civilized man is telling you he's South African, he's letting you know they need the aid? Why are you arguing against it?
No, I'm not. I say, Lozi has a point to some extent. It depends on like the sector where they are providing the aid to. Like in Ghana.
Civilized man just told us.
No. I agree. I'm saying, like for instance, in Ghana, they provide aid in education, in health. Of course, in health, of course, you need the aid in the health sector. Even in agricultural sector, you need the aid for fertilizers, and even economics too. They kind of help you to for your small business to have access
So,
into American market.
South Africans, are you listening? Zongo is letting you know you guys better pull out your traditional dress when the
Yeah, but I'm saying that the downside of it, the downside of it when it comes to education is that is an avenue for them to also promote this,
Yeah, but you don't have to worry about that because Trump, you already know where he stands.
Oh no, exactly right. Okay, then that's really exactly right. But the thing is, he's not gonna be there forever. If if he leaves, he's gonna continue. So that's the really challenge part of it.
I think the LGBTQ stuff comes from a different place. I don't think it's the aid at all.
No. Trust me, man. Like they were really putting it in the educational curriculums in Ghana. Trust me. Like
no, I'm saying in the case of South Africa, our aid is only in health. So the education stuff, I think it has more to do with political
no.
party
Come on, man.
funding.
Just Google. If you Google USA,
Okay,
South Africa.
I'm not denying that they're doing it.
Can I add something here?
Go ahead.
Okay, can I quickly add? Yeah.
Go ahead,
yeah,
Lozi,
no,
man.
I'm glad that there's no delay anymore, guys. Right? All right. Civilized men. If you look at the national budget of South Africa, it's above $138 billion. At best, I think last year was $140 billion to be exact. That's the largest national budget in Africa. We have got around population of 62 million. Egypt has got 108 million people with a budget that is half of South Africa, their national budget. You are telling me that we cannot survive. We need that $400 million from USA to aid us, while we're sitting with the largest national budget in Africa at 140 billion annually. Like, I mean,
It,
come on,
it is
let's
a
make
large budget.
sense here. South
Yeah, let me
Africa's
make
got
sense of it
enough
for you.
budget. If
But why did they carry it then? Why did they
Lozi,
carry it? Why did they
what
let
you
go
gonna
teachers?
make sense of? I just
civilized man. Listen
They
to
took away teachers' jobs because they can't afford to pay them. So we don't have the money to cover all our expenses.
Hey, civilized man, listen. The U.S. aid in South Africa provide various aid to programs in health, education, and economic
civilized men,
development, and also even in the community engagement.
Civilized men. How,
Finish, Lozi.
your audio. So, guys, let's do our closing statements here. I want to come back so we can do just the call. Ola, are you there? Ola, are you there?
Yes.
Yeah, but civilized man is just not a smart person, because now I told you that every year.
Yeah, but Lozi, you can't just say that budget. If they take aid, it means the budget is not sufficient.
Hey, whoever has got the music in the back, you gotta mute,
That's
because
Ola.
that's gonna ruin my stream.
Ola, mute Ola, man.
Yeah, whoever's got the music, please stay away, far away from the music. It's gonna take my stream down.
Ola, mute your TV.
Yeah, I already did it.
Okay, go ahead, Ola.
Yeah, I'll be listening to everybody, Lozi, everybody. You know, South Africa I think it's a very powerful country. There are two groups there. I think those ones have to work for the betterment of their country. You know, when you talk about actually, I like their builders. Their builder is up to notch. They are finishing touch in building. Instead of building houses, I really love it a lot. You know, so not about saying, when I'm talking about the black builders there. They are far more the best builders than any the West African builders who their finishing touch is a little bit rough. They have other things, you know. Yeah, they should work together. I think both of them have no other place to call home. That is their home. I know it's a black people's country, but the other ones, the immigrant that came, also take it as a home. You know, so if they work together, no matter how they want to do them, it will not actually have effect. You know, that's just all. I think we just have to believe none is having another place to go. That is their home, and Trump can say whatever he wants to say. If those two groups comes together and work together, that's just all. You know what I mean? You know, long live to them.
Thank you, Ola.
Yeah, bro.
All right. Go ahead. Civilized man.
My closing statement.
Yes.
What can I say? Like I wanted to tell you, this account actually belongs to the one and only. Were you able to tell?
The one and only?
Yeah, the one who once requested a video from you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you remember when I told you that I'll be available?
Yes. Oh, yeah. Okay. So yeah. You got it. You got your audio together now. Okay.
Yeah. So my closing statements. Yeah, I think like the reason they are carrying our aid, it's not like a critical issue. It's something that can be negotiated around. So I think we should go and negotiate and get the aid back. That's my view on the issue. I think Lozi needs to start being more logical and stop throwing insults. If you disagree with someone.
Civilized man.
Hold on, Zongo, stop cutting people off. The man is closing. Let him finish, please. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think Lozi needs to stop being emotional and throwing insults. If you disagree with someone on something, point out logically using facts and statistics what is wrong with it. Stop saying this guy is stupid, he's dumb, he's uneducated. Point out exactly what is wrong with what he said. Okay? Yeah, that's my closing statement.
Thank you. All right, you go ahead, Zongo.
Well, hey, civilized man, I think that's a very valid point. But I'll just put it that way. If you really watch the interview of Marco Rubio, they never say like they're kind of really like, cutting the aid. Actually, they feel like they're actually reviewing it. In areas where it aligns with the interests of the U.S., like in the case of like healthcare and providing food, places where they have like food insecurity. They're really going to like reinstall the program back. They're kind of like really reviewing it in areas where it kind of disagrees with U.S. interests. They're gonna put a stop to it. But overall, I mean, to the main topic, I would say the players at hand in Congo, they, they got to come to the negotiating table and really discuss about it. They really have to prioritize the people of that region at heart, because I'm sure it's not only the Houthis are the ones dying; they're also displacing other groups over there in that region too. So at the end,
Go to check.
it's
Go to
really
check.
it's really affecting a large group of people over there, and who is actually benefiting? Who is benefiting? I
Thank you.
doubt it. If the majority of the people in the country are benefit, it's really people from outside. So
Thank you.
Africans, they gotta think wise.
Thank you. All right. Let's have Diogo. Diogo.
No, after that was you.
Oh.
You should have blocked
Oh,
me.
Diogo, call back in. I accidentally dropped you instead of Zongo. Call back, but Lozi, you can go ahead. Diogo, call in. You can get your last word. Go ahead. Go ahead, Lozi. Lozi, I can't hear you. Lozi. Lozi, are you there? I can't hear him. Lozi, are you there? Your audio is not coming through. I don't know what happened to Lozi's audio. Hold on, let me see. Lozi, can you say something? Oh, okay. Lozi, go back out and come back in. Anyways, let me see this. Oh, there goes Mimi. She's back in the chat crying again. Mimi is like one of those leftists running around here, hoping that people would regret their vote. Nobody regret their vote. Everyone knows what they voted for. Okay, so keep crying, Mimi. All right, Diogo, closing
Yes.
statement. Sorry, I
Well,
accidentally.
let me first thank you for hosting the show, man. It was actually a good one, and let's see what the world will manifest. I'm actually interested in seeing how this will play off. But yeah, on a short note, I agree with Trump positions, and let's see if the Africans will take a solid position as well, and they will see that they're the only ones who can make it work for them. Nobody else can.
Thank you very much, Diego, for coming.
Yes, thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's bringing us to the end of the show here. Yeah, it's very interesting. We'll see if South Africa is gonna bend the knee like the rest of them, and yeah, the situation in the Congo, as you can see, there are all these different factions are fighting to protect their interests. None of them are fighting to help the people, the different groups we're seeing, and the propaganda is heavy. So hopefully it doesn't spread into a huge regional war. I suspect that there are plenty of countries, some of them are hiding in the shadow, that are benefiting from what is happening in that place. All right. Actually, oh, okay, St. James. Oh, never mind. All right. I'll see you guys. Peace.
Then thy ears to the freedomers. Pay attention to the freedomers. The true Soninke warrior.
Natural is his intelligence, as a true professor. Solution to brainwash diseases. Sit back, relax, and hear the wisdom. Afridamus will heal your minds. Sit back, reflect, you'll find no objection. Afridamus will clear your doubts here. Always log on to the Afridamus. Lend thy ears to the Afridamus. Is the truth and no doubt. The